Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name is Sean Bell. I am joined by Matthew Murray.
Hello.
And God bless him, James Farley. He probably shouldn't be here, but he is.
Hello.
You're not feeling too great, are you, James?
No, I feel a bit sick, which isn't
For the record, we tried to source a replacement, and James, God love him, was like, "No, I'll do it. It's fine." It might not be fine.
You did source one, and then it didn't work out, and then I felt bad, and I thought I don't want to let you down. So,
yeah. I mean, we could have found someone else, I'm sure, but yeah. I mean, we appreciate you coming on, but if you do have to go, just do it. Don't have to wait for a good bit or tell us.
If you have to go for a bathroom break, then by all means go. But if there's something else, just keep the mic running. It'll be funny. Just
that's true. Yeah, we might get some decent content out of it. So,
do not mute your mic if you have to do that one.
Well, I will, because I've genuinely got like a sick bucket here next to me, like just in case.
But please don't mute your mic. It will be hilarious.
It'd be disgusting. It's horrible.
Well, I'll work it out in post. Just keep the mic on. Anyway, but we're thankful you're here anyway, James.
Yeah, we appreciate it, but if you have to go, just do it. It's fine.
How contagious are you? I mean, sure, we're going to get it, or
well, you'll be fine. I mean, I'm infected the family, so they're not happy at the moment.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, I always get in the neck. Just like I may be ill, maybe someone from work, and like, oh look, you brought this cold into the house. I like there wouldn't have been a cold in the house ever anyway. Just I'm the only one to have brought this possible disease into the house. I'm always getting told off for that.
Right,
families.
Oh. Last week, we launched our Patreon, and Jesus Christ, I mean, I can't believe how well it did. I'm absolutely over the moon about it. I assume you guys are feeling the same.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's only been a week. Like, we launched it like, it was last Tuesday. It's Tuesday today as we record this. It's been a crazy week. We're absolutely blown away by support. Everyone, like, sharing it, retweeting it, donating, supporting us. It's awesome to see.
And like the stretch goals that we set for doing the Star Calls podcast and Bell's Kitchen, like we knew those goals weren't like ridiculous, but I think the idea was kind of like, well, we'll set them at $600, $700, and then like maybe it'll take a couple of months to get there, and then we can sort of feel it out and get our heads around how much work it's going to be, and then first week, both of them. So.
I mean, put it this way, I really didn't think we'd be doing Star Calls, to be honest. I was kind of banking on that not happening. Are you regretting it? And now it is. So I'm not regretting it.
James, I've got to host a cooking show every month now.
It's not going to happen. We're fine. Oh no.
There's like real financial and technical concerns I've got now about getting that up and running.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm obviously delighted it's happening because I've always wanted to do this with Doe because I think it's going to be quite funny. But yeah, I still just wasn't expecting it, so I was totally blown away and very appreciative. It's amazing.
Yeah, man, it's been incredible. We did a brief before the when we talked over State of Play the other night, and we did a brief Q&A, but the audio was sort of fucked, which is I'll hold my hands up for that. That's my fault. But yeah, basically, the main questions we've had. So obviously, this podcast will always be free, and I think we're also keen to obviously the Patreon stuff's going to get a mention, but really we want to keep this show self-contained and as it is. It's not going to be we're stopping every 5 minutes and going, no, save that for the Patreon show.
That's not great extra content and push you were paying for.
Yeah, so we're going to really try not to do that, and if we do end up being a bit like that, please do tell us.
Yeah, but in terms of the pod remaining free, but no one's actually said it's a pod go remain free. But I realised it wasn't on our Patreon page, and I'm fairly sure almost everyone in our audience is going to understand that obviously this isn't going to change at all. But I just wanted to make it absolutely clear if there was any shadow of a doubt, nothing's going to change with the pod.
Yeah, totally.
That's our bread and butter.
So yeah, Star Calls and Bell's Kitchen, although they were stretch goals, they're going to be for everyone. That's it was just one of those things. I mean, especially with Bell's Kitchen, because I'm going to need to actually buy stuff to do it. It was just
aren't you going to totally renovate your kitchen?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, an entire like Jamie Oliver style extension.
It could do with a renovation because it doesn't look fantastic. I mean, you'll all see soon enough. But it's more just like setting up like webcams and the microphone.
You should do up one tiny portion of your kitchen, basically only where the camera's going to be. So that bit has like marble, like work surface. It looks incredible. There's maybe like an oven, and then like if you pan out slightly, it's just
I'll just get one really nice chopping board.
Yeah.
And the camera will just be on that for the entire
one nice chopping board and like one really nice cupboard to put in the background, which is blurred anyway, but it's like, wow, this looks like an expensive kitchen. It's like, do not pan out.
I might just blue screen the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah,
have you thought about product placement as well?
Oh, that's the point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you thinking like Dormio in the background?
Stuff. Yeah, you need to get in contact with some, like chopping board companies or whatever, and...
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem with that is I couldn't name a single one off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm going to really embarrass myself now, but what's that like really amazing like pan manufacturer? Is it Chris?
Le Creuset or whatever.
Yeah. Game off. Just ask them.
The amount of times I've like when it's been like my mum's birthday or whatever, and I've been like, maybe I'll just get one of those really nice Le Creuset pans, and then you're like, oh no, it's literally like 150 quid for like a casserole dish or whatever.
Yeah, it's
absolutely absurd.
One of my everything I've got in my kitchen is worth more than that.
Yeah,
that's great. I've just maybe put some like Dormio on the side, or I don't know, some other things.
That's the point, yeah.
Hey, look what we're doing, Dormio. Just do you want to send us some?
I mean, if I'm using Dolmio on a show where I'm supposed to be showing people how to cook, that's a point. That's a failure, isn't it?
Good point.
Some old El Paso
like Delia Smith controversy.
Yeah, old El Paso in the background. Oh, sorry, I've just spilled my incredible old El Paso sauce.
What else? Oh yeah, so obviously for those at the $5 tier, we're going to be doing a Patreon exclusive podcast. So that'll be out before the end of the month, each month. There is we've given people the link to the feed, but there's nothing in it yet, have we? So we're going to put like a placeholder there so that it actually works.
Yeah. So a few people on day one were like, I've added the RSS feed, which is on our Patreon page, to my podcast player, but it wasn't working yet. But we will put something out on that just to make sure it works. And then the actual exclusive pod end of each month. I saw some people say, it's a little bit lazy because on the Patreon page it says, dictated by you, the patrons. What we mean by that is we're not just going to sit there and say, go on then. What are we going to do?
What do you want to do? Yeah,
it's basically like we'll just have a chat and do what we normally do. But if you wanted us to talk about something or it's taken in a certain direction, and then it's about that. So it's not that we're going to sit there.
Obviously, we've got ideas.
Just give us something to say. Go on.
Yeah, but if there's anything specific you want us to cover, you are literally our employers now. So
yeah, we just let us know. Dictated by you.
And then the computer game show talks over old stuff. So we're going to aim for one a month, but obviously we may do more. But obviously, those $10 patrons still get whatever we put out. You still get access to that a month early.
Regardless.
Than everyone else.
And for those of you who maybe haven't seen it, we've obviously done TCGS talks over before. We did one last week with State of Play, where basically one of us, myself or Sean, streams it. The rest just talk. And we watch it. But these ones that we're doing for Patreon are much more produced. You can see all our faces on webcams. It's much more.
You say they're much more produced. The first one isn't fully indicative of how we want it to be, but we'll get there. It's fine.
But they're not the same as the ones you may have seen for us when we've talked over Nintendo Directs and whatnot.
Yeah, totally.
And also, if you back us now or in 6 months' time, regardless of when you back us, you will get access to all previous. TCGS talks over all previous sort of Patreon pods, because you'll, regardless of what, depending on what tier you back, you will then see all those relevant posts in our Patreon. So it doesn't matter if you back us today or in a few months' time, you'll still get access to all the content we put out, that's exclusive to Patreon.
Every month, it only gets better value for money.
If anything, wait 10 years and then actually no.
And then just pay once and then just give us a tenner and then you're done. But thank you so much to everyone.
It's been amazing, and we can't wait to put our money to good use, and whether that's upgrading equipment or just helping us support our lives or whatever.
James needs a new webcam. That's first on the list.
Definitely, that's good. And we all need decent chairs. I mean, my back is killing me on this fold-up wooden chair.
You're not going to get one of those gaming chairs, are you?
I'm going to have to get something.
Just get something nice from IKEA.
but a gaming chair, it's like they're cheaper actually on Amazon than IKEA, and it might be called a gaming chair in inverted commas, but it's just like a folding leather chair, isn't it? Well, not folding.
I guess so. It just fascinates me that like having one of those weird gaming chairs is like such a rite of passage that like some streamers who don't have one actually like fake one in the background.
Oh, God.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, so they'll get like a transparent, they'll get like a photograph of one, make the background transparent, and like place it behind them in their sort of their streaming layout.
Oh, as if
so
to
that
say
it looks
like
yeah,
I'm
so it
not
looks
sitting
like
on
they're
it.
on a cool gaming chair.
It looks like they're
so completely alien to me. I don't have like I don't have a streaming layout or anything. I've got my back room.
I know, it's weird,
and it's it looks a mess. It's terrible.
right.
I'm on a fold up wooden chair from IKEA, so don't worry about it, James. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, patreon.com/TCGS. Obviously, we won't be doing this every week, so calm down, guys. We'll get to that in feedback. Also, so we stream on Twitch like most nights. If you want to support us still, but you don't want to pay us any money, which is absolutely fine. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've also got Twitch Prime. If you head over to our channel on Twitch, it's I always forget what it is. It's a computer game.
No, it's a computer game show. Yeah,
it is a computer game show.
Yeah.
If you want to just give us your free Twitch Prime sub, that would be amazing. That is like still a massive help and effectively costs you nothing if you're already an Amazon Prime customer. Matt, you've put a fantasy football thing in here. I don't understand any of it.
I'll be brief. The football season is now over. It's been an incredible year. I think we can all agree with that. But we started at the start of the year a TCGS Championship, and we have a winner, Sean Thomas. Congratulations, you won with your team. Now I'm probably going to fuck this up. Caesar Salah I mean, how would you pronounce it? Is it vinegar? I assume it's like the taco dish. But anyway, regardless.
I assume it's like Caesar salad vinegar, but they've written it in a
either way.
Sean
way. Thomas, well done. You absolutely smashed it, and you're like good 80 points ahead of second place. I was 18th, did all right. So yeah, that's the end of the season. Stephen back here for training in August for next season. Sean and James, you don't really. No, James, you don't get involved in fantasy football, do you?
Most years I do, and then I usually do it for like about a month or 2 months. Then I get bored and don't bother anymore. And so this year I just thought I can't even be bothered to do that, so I didn't.
Oh God, I absolutely love it. Just but it's very sad, but also it's just fucking brilliant. I've been so into this year, it's been ridiculous. Anyway, before we start feedback, here's our Patreon producers for this month. This show is brought to you by Alan M. Nash, Barney Sparkles, and Steve Garrett. Thank you ever so much, you guys, for supporting us on Patreon. Let's get into feedback. Cool. We're going to start off with Nick Hanan. Dave is so right about the housekeeping section. It belongs at the end of the episode. Your argument that nobody listens to the end is erroneous. The housekeeping section describes TCGS events that the most passionate fans will be interested in, and the most passionate fans are the ones that will listen to the end of the episode. The people that are tuning out before the episode ends aren't going to watch streams or contribute to Patreon anyway. And as Dave says, it brings the podcast to a halt right at the start. We had some others. SMW. Can we have some polls on the things Dave wants to remove from the show? I'm with Dave, by the way.
I mean, I really like how Dave, who is getting paid, by the way, is trying to undermine this for us.
Yeah, just comes in, feedback, fucks off.
I mean, every other podcast I listen to has a much more intrusive, often pre-recorded, canned advertising bit. Or like, oh, if you want to subscribe to our ad-free feed, like do this, that, and the other. And I feel like ours isn't anywhere near as bad, so I'm afraid I don't feel terrible about it whatsoever.
I would love to do that just to wind Dave up.
You think we should start advertising mattresses and Audible
mattresses? I don't know. Yeah, Audible, whatever.
Lisa.com. I think I might mattress as well.
Zip Recruiter.
I mean, there were a ton of people in the Discord saying it's absolutely fine and they didn't mind as well. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, I got grief when it was like, here's match social bit at the end. Brought it to the front. And I think for things like, we're doing a live show, we've got a Patreon, that stuff makes sense, Yeah. Just, it's fine.
That said, I think we've agreed that we don't need to go through the whole streaming schedule every week. So we'll scrap that. We'll streamline it. We'll meet you halfway.
We will streamline it.
Yeah, mate.
And we'll mention that at the end of the pod super quickly. We stream. That's it. Anyway, Rector Reese tweeted in, Sean mentioned a load of times how upset he is that he can't afford a pinball table. In the same episode, you announce your Patreon. You're not fooling anyone. Also, are you going to buy a pinball table, Sean? Is that?
I mean, no, because the one I want, Terminator 2, it's like starts at about $3,500, and that's for one that needs some work doing to it. So
Jesus, really?
That's a lot of Patreon payments before that's going to be it. I mean, plus, do I really want one in my house? Probably not.
I mean, the noise that thing's going to make.
Well, exactly, because you only ever play on a pinball table in somewhere that's already noisy, so you don't really consider how loud it must be. But
you get play at 11 o'clock
in your actual house, yeah.
Like, don't talk to me on it's pinball hour on Sunday morning.
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't have to say that because you wouldn't be able to hear anyone fucking speak over it anyway.
Everyone, the family leaving the house because Sean's playing with his pinballs. Also, he freaked out Rector East when you referred to your mobile phone as your telephone. He doesn't know why.
I had a couple of... There was someone else tweeted me about this as well. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a funny thing to call my mobile phone.
Your telephone.
Yeah.
Steve Norman at STV Norman says, you're willing to download Pinball FX3 on Switch. It's got your Ghost Table, Sorcerer's Lair for free. And it did used to be called Zen Pinball on PS4. Oh yeah, that'd be brilliant on Switch, actually.
I'm glad I'm glad you just explained the Zen Pinball and Pinball FX thing, because I've been confused about this, because they're all by Zen, the company Zen, or the developer rather. But for some reason, at some point, they changed from calling them Zen Pinball because there's Pinball FX on PS4 as well.
Yeah. But
so I guess at some point they just changed. Whatever. But no, that's cool. If it's got a free table on it, that's wicked.
Was Pinball FX that one that on Xbox they just kept giving away every month for like months and months and months?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it was like... I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Also, believe I forgot it was. Someone tweeted at me saying, yeah, so the one on the Switch you can like turn it vertical as well.
I was just googling it now. I was like, surely it being on Switch, it'll be a vertical thing. If that's the case, that might be great. I didn't buy it, but there was a Kickstarter a few months ago where it's like that grip you could buy that basically you attach. Attach like you put the Switch like vertically. I'm definitely downloading that then. I mean. Absolutely, absolutely more. Colin Ross Wilson, you're going to need more stretch goals. Firstly, because you're Hit Bell's Kitchen, which we did, and also because Matt is not doing enough work.
Don't tell him that. Fucking hell.
I think you're fine, Colin. Doing perfectly the right amount. I think people see enough of my face on Twitch as it is. We don't need anything else. But appreciate that nonetheless. If you want to leave us feedback, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
Cool. Right, James, I'll be honest, right? I had a news segue all planned out, but it sort of relied on you not being here. So by now showing up, you've sort of ruined it. I was going to do a whole thing because I was going to do the news if you weren't here, and I was going to do a whole Highlander thing. Have you ever seen the Highlander films?
I've actually not, which I know is a terrible thing to admit, but yeah, I've never seen them.
I don't know. You're probably all right, to be honest.
I thought Haley was a Highlander fan. I don't quite know why. It's like an old series I'd imagine you were loving.
Immortals who've been hanging around forever, and occasionally they meet up and have a duel, and then if one of them wins, they cut the other one's head off, and then they do a thing called the Quickening, where they gain all of the other Immortals' knowledge. And I was going to sort of do a thing about how like I'd cut your head off and taken all your knowledge, and that's how I'm able to do the news section in your absence. But it doesn't really work.
So is this because this is like there can only be one, yeah? That's like the thing.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But in this case, there can only be one, and that's me to read the news.
Apparently, yeah.
Okay, so I'll read the news now. And
thank you, please do.
Okay, okay. So the first piece of news we've got is that EA Access is coming to PlayStation.
Hey!
So this is coming on the 4th of July, and it's going to have a similar back catalogue of games to the Xbox version, and that will have the same sort of 10-hour demos and discounts and all that kind of stuff. There's no word on pricing yet, but people are obviously we're expecting it's going to be the same, like £20 a year or £4 a month or whatever.
It has to be. It'll be bonkers if it isn't that.
And I mean, what's interesting about this is like none of this is any different to what the service launch for the Xbox was at all. Shall I read what Sony said when that happened?
Please do.
So this is when they said, we evaluated the EA Access subscription offering and decided that it does not bring the kind of value that PlayStation customers have come to expect. So, I mean, I don't know what's happened in between, them saying that
What's happened is that PS Plus actually got worse.
Well, yeah, I mean,
definitely it's not that bad.
that's the thing. I mean, PS Plus has definitely got worse, and maybe this is now the level that PlayStation owners are expecting of like things. So it's fine.
It's the same level of value, yeah. I mean,
or is this just Sony realizing that going into the next generation they need to generate a bit of goodwill?
Yeah, it's that as well, definitely, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had EA access for a year on my Xbox, and I would have re-upped, but I think at the time it renewed, I just didn't have money or didn't want to. But for £20 a year. I mean, it's probably worth it alone for the 10-hour demos. If there's a bunch of EA games you play, and then they've also got the Vault as well.
I'm scared to ask, but has it got the FIFAs on it?
It has, yeah.
It has, yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake!
I don't know. Has it got every FIFA or just the last couple?
No, it has. It has last year's. I think.
Okay.
From what I remember.
I'm only going to need 17 and 18 for a while, right? I'm not going to get through those too quickly, I don't think.
I think it'll definitely have 17 and 18 on there. Yeah, they're definitely there. Okay. But it's got all the Mass Effect games as well and all that kind of thing. So
and it's got the Titanfalls, it's got Madden. I mean, it's got some indie. Has it got the Unravel games and?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, for £20 a year, I think it's good. I mean, even if you play it only a few times, that and 10-hour demos, it's
yeah. I should really have a proper look at Origin Access on PC because I got that with a view to getting the FIFAs and hopefully getting those streams going. But after, I think I mentioned this the other week, so I basically realised that my laptop was not up to playing PC games and streaming them at the same time. However, I'm on like an actual PC now, so maybe that'll be fine. But
do you say you start paying for that then?
Start paying for what? Sorry, for Origin Access on PC? Yeah, but it's super cheap. So there's Origin Access, and then there's like a more expensive one that I forget the name of. Where
the Origin Access Premier.
Yeah, so that's where you get like actual new stuff as well. Whereas the regular Origin Access is literally like £3 a month or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then actually that's only marginally less than the console one, isn't it?
I was gonna say. I mean, I bet it's like an annual pass for that, which must only also be about £20.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, is this something you're vaguely, because obviously James and I have Xboxes, but what are you, Sean? Are you vaguely interested in this, or?
I mean, what does it offer me that I don't already get on the PC one? I guess is the first question. Like it, yeah.
Okay, taking this from somebody who has played FIFA on multiple platforms over the years, get the PlayStation 1 because it'll be fine. Just do that. Don't try and play it on PC. Just play it on PS4. It'd be fine. Just get this. It's like it'll cost you £4. It's nothing. Just try that.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, okay, fine.
Have you got any Access sub then, James? Active?
No, I did have, but then again, it was another one of those things where you're just like, I don't know why I'm paying for this because I'm not. There's so much stuff that comes out all the time now that it's like, when do you have time to play all of this stuff?
Yeah.
And
that's the thing, isn't it?
And I'm kind of feeling like that with Game Pass as well at the moment because I've got that on like one of those like 2-month thing, and I was looking at like the games, and there are some stuff on there that I was thinking, I wouldn't mind playing that, but then there's just new stuff that comes out all the time that's like on other platforms or whatever I want to play, and I just think, why would I pay for this? Like at the moment, it's
and I mean, I've been having a nice time with the Humble Monthly thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want every game that comes out every month on it, but then so you got your monthly games, of which I've always wanted at least like 2. And like one of them's usually pretty premium, and then the rest are sort of like smaller, sort of indie stuff. But then there's the Trove, which is just like a constant archive of stuff you can download, and then within that there's like sort of special indie stuff that is exclusive to the Humble Monthly deal, so that's really
so
cool.
It comes out on there first, does it?
Yeah, and it's just like weird little experimental games and stuff. And I was thinking of doing one stream where I just go through a load of those. But yeah, we'll see.
But I just think there's got to be an upper limit to how many subscription services there's going to have to be, isn't there? Because it's like,
definitely, yeah.
Because I mean, why would you subscribe to like all of them, or even like 1 or 2 or whatever? It just seems too much. Because it's just too much content. And I know that sounds ridiculous, like complaining about there's too many games or whatever, but...
You're right, because like we've been saying this for ages, just about like Steam sales and stuff, the fact that everyone's gone pretty cold on those, because for the first few years, it's, oh my God, you can get all these games for like £3 each. And then after a couple of years, you're like, oh, I'm playing none of them. Like, I'm literally just buying games to have them in a list and then never play them. It's ridiculous.
At one point, there's a bit of novelty. Like, I bought a game for like 50p or quid or something. Like, I'll buy something. And then I'm not sure if they still do it, but a few years ago, it's like, if you buy these, you get like cards, and you like buy enough of these summer summer Steam sale games, you get like these cards and bonuses, and it's like, oh god, and then that, and then you get free games. If you've got like Twitch Prime, you get free monthly games, and if you're Discord Nitro, I mean, I'm a subscriber, I'm not, but if you are, you get free games there, and then Epic Game Store, PS Plus, Xbox Gold. It's mad.
See, and the one machine that I would appreciate something like this on is the Switch, which you're never going to get that.
Yeah, but then on Switch you get NES Online. You get the SNES on. You get the Switch Online.
I mean, it's
NES
not
games.
quite the same. Is it?
No, it's not the same. But what I know what you mean.
Yeah, they've
like
done a similar thing.
You know, if there was something like Game Pass on that, where they had like all the indie games and all that kind of thing, that'd be fantastic. You know, to have something like that, because I find myself mostly now, if I buy like indie games, I almost always buy them on Switch now, because I want to just be able to play them wherever. But it just feels weird, like just having like something like Game Pass just on like one machine that I can only play at home or whatever. It's just, I don't know, I'm just being crazy.
I mean, obviously we've had loads of rumours about Game Pass on Switch, and Microsoft's relationship with like Nintendo becoming closer. Obviously Cuphead came out. Like, what are the chances, do you honestly think, of there being Game Pass on Switch, James?
I don't know. I mean, if they do something with xCloud, like, you know, whether it's like streaming stuff, because I can't see how they'd be able to.
All that stuff sounded like it sounds amazing, but I'm just like, if that happens, wow, it would be incredible. But I don't know, it all seems too good to be true.
But also, I mean, if you were Nintendo, would you be happy about it? Like the idea that you've got like an alternative store, basically, like on your platform.
I think. I don't know. I'm not a business person, but I guess a way to look at it is like, if that's on there, that's people using the Switch much more than alternative machines or iPads or something else. And the more time people are using the Switch, the more chance that they're being shown adverts or they're seeing games in the Switch store. And so also, surely, like the more
suppose it's like
machine, that's better regardless of what they're playing. And I don't know, it feels like it'd be a positive thing.
And all those first-party games are still only going to be on like Nintendo.
Exactly, yeah. It's the best of both worlds.
And if like Microsoft came out and were like, oh, by the way, this Project xCloud stuff, we're not actually doing a handheld. If you want a good handheld experience, you need a Nintendo Switch. That is theoretically going to sell a lot of Switches. And okay, it might hit software sales on the Switch, but then if it increases the player base, maybe that's like a net gain.
Yeah, because Microsoft will definitely be advertising that, just like they advertised. They put like the Switch in their Minecraft advert when they had like cross-gen, cross-platform like play. So there's also a bit of free advertising there, because obviously Microsoft's going to shout about the fact that Game Pass is on Switch. It'd be like in the last generation where it's like Wii 60, or people call things Wii 60. It's like, okay, well, your 360 is your main console, but Wii is definitely your secondary console. Yeah, and it's like, well, if you've got a Switch, Game Pass is guaranteed, and if you want a portable Game Pass, get a Switch.
That was what was funny with that, wasn't it? Because then you had like Sony also saying, "Oh, but you can also have like PS Wii." It's like, but it's like both companies didn't seem to think, well, hang on, if everyone does that, then Nintendo wins. Because then it's like,
exactly. It's that not competing for first place thing, isn't it? It's actually, if you aim to be everyone's second console, you actually end up doing pretty well out of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay. I love it, but I'm not 100% sure if we ever will see that on Switch. But it would be incredible if we do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would be interested in that. It's just, it's all about where you can actually play games for me nowadays, and Switch is where it's the easiest for me to actually do that, and rather than having to sit down in front of the TV all the time. Next, in fact, talking of that, Apex Legends is headed for mobile. That's happening. So this was during their fourth quarter earnings call. EA said that they were looking at bringing Apex Legends to mobile and also to the Chinese market. This is kind of the plan. And they said they were this was like their fastest growing franchise that they've had, and they were hoping it was going to like run for years and years and all that sort of rubbish. And there's no detail about how the mobile game is going to work or if it's going to connect with the main game, but so there's mobile Apex Legends.
It's so strange to me that all the big Battle Royale games are going to mobile, because, I mean, obviously it does well enough that it's worth doing. I'm not disputing that. But to me, it just seems like the absolute worst way to play a game like that.
But I'd imagine that they probably make the most money out of the mobile platform, like over the other versions. I'm sure that's true.
Right.
I bet. I mean, I obviously played tons of Fortnite on both on console, but also on Switch, but also on my phone on like to and from work.
Okay.
But for Fortnite, I was basically in those games. I was playing on my phone. I was mostly doing the challenges. Wasn't really going for like wins because it's not the easiest thing to do. But again, I talked about how good it was. The fact that it's the same account. I could unlock some challenges in the morning, maybe play at lunchtime almost on Switch with the things unlocked, and then use those things I've unlocked and skins and stuff when I play on consoles in the evening. And if Apex can do that, and actually they're allowing people to engage with the game wherever they are, and then play the game properly on their console or PC in the evening, I think it makes total sense. I wish all games did that. It's although it's not the easiest game in the world to play on mobile, it's still good enough, which is a phrase obviously we've used. It feels like we're using it all the time recently, but it's a good enough experience. And I don't actually know if Apex has challenges in the way that Fortnite did, and so that's my sort of blind spot there. But yeah, it makes total sense. But the idea of it's not being clear whether it will connect to the main game, that's surely the whole point.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where, I mean, I'm not going to play this because I have no interest, but I mean, if people want to do that, that's great. I mean, I think it's, there is other ways to connect and other ways to play this stuff, that's always a good thing. It's
because if all the time people are at work or whatever, they're not on their console, and if they're not on console, they're not going to be buying a battle pass or buying cosmetics. If they can access that wherever they go, they can buy cosmetics on the way to work, at work, in the toilets at work, wherever they are. And that's what EA and companies want. They want people not just to be have to go to their console one single place to be able to make these purchases. So
Matt,
it makes absolute sense.
How many cosmetics have you bought in the toilet at work?
I'd rather not say. Next story.
Okay. So anyway, moving on. So EA might have a bit of trouble though getting Apex Legends out in China, because the next story is related to the other thing which happened last week, which was kind of funny, which is that Tencent has pulled like PUBG because they can't get a license for it from the Chinese government. So instead of because they've been trying for a long time to get a license for it and they couldn't. But they've re-released it instead, modified, as Game for Peace, is what it's called.
So this is so funny.
What's quite interesting about this as well is that if you've played PUBG in China, you can move your progress over from the original game to this, so you won't lose all your stuff. So that's great. So instead, what this does, Game for Peace focuses on what they say is anti-terrorism themes. And then also, and this is what I quote, paying tribute to the blue sky warriors that guard our country's airspace. So that's the thing. So, yeah, nice bit of nationalism there.
What's the Air Force got to do with it?
Nothing, but they like to say things like that. But either way...
Yeah. No, but they're absolute heroes, aren't they, Sean?
But then, so one of the main modifications is that when players are shot, they fall down, but then they wave to show that they're okay, which is kind of amazing. And I mean, some of the comments from Chinese social media have been really funny, because it's just people saying I'm dying laughing playing this because it's just it's embarrassing. It's basically just embarrassing. And there's been this hashtag of PUBG is gone, which has been shared more than it's 550 million times on Chinese social media, saying it's this is done. But I mean, it's completely understandable that why this is going on at the moment, but it is still very funny. that this is
it's just fascinating because, do you remember Haze?
Yeah,
came out.
Of course,
yeah.
It wasn't very good. Free Radical game.
Yeah, I never played it, but I did not hear good things. But the concept around it was pretty clever in that it was you're this cool super soldier and you get given this performance enhancing drug, and as you're running around in sort of taking down terrorists and stuff, and as you shoot them, they kind of go and there's no blood, and then they fall to the ground, and then they fade away, and you kind of oh, well, that's a bit unrealistic, but it's a video game, so whatever. And then as it turns out, the big twist, which is in the first hour or something, is that actually this drug is censoring how you're viewing the battlefield, and your supply of it gets fucked up, and suddenly you realise that the people you were shooting and they were going and falling over are actually writhing around on the floor screaming and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I thought that was
really
a really interesting concept. Yeah,
it's a really good idea, and it's just fascinating that now an actual game that it wasn't even particularly gratuitous to begin with has been toned down into the point that the characters now wave goodbye, and then
Yeah, I think Fortnite's patching us in tomorrow. So, well known for
I mean,
stealing
I'd probably
things.
check it out if they did, I'll be honest.
Fortnite waving, it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it fits with all the other things that are going on there at the moment. I mean, TV is also in the process of being cleaned up in the same way. And I mean, from my perspective, the main purpose for this is because as the economy is kind of worsening, the CCP is gaining greater control of the public sphere, like in a massive way.
Right.
And this is another effort to do that. So, yeah, it's interesting.
But generally, like the game players over there just think it's a massive joke. And
but then what can you do? There's nothing you can do. You just have to comply. So
is it exactly like PUBG, except it's been sort of they've changed some things? Like, it is basically PUBG, same mechanics, same everything.
Yeah, just modified. Yeah, with the thing.
And I guess,
I'd love to play it.
Like, obviously, the fact that this is this is come about from not necessarily government interference, but certainly in order to appease the authorities.
Oh, it is government interference.
But yeah, okay. But like, as a player, like, what difference does it make? Like there aren't any shooters I play that like I enjoy the violence. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't need them to be particularly gory or whatever. It's the mechanics and the execution of it, and
That's
it's like
true.
the fact.
Yeah,
like whether or not people are getting their heads blown off is kind of immaterial to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is anyone like, oh, well, this is a much worse game now, even though mechanically it hasn't actually altered? I'm not saying it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Like, does it make much of a difference in a game like this? I don't know.
I mean, it would affect like the feel of the game, though, surely, because the whole point
and the
with
tone
this,
of it.
I mean, stuff like PUBG is obviously they're not attempting to be like a realistic military shooter or whatever, but it still is going to impact on like whatever sort of atmosphere you're trying to create with this, and makes it more sort of laughable, really. If you sort of mean.
True, and obviously, something like PUBG, that's not a problem. But like some of the Call of Duty games have had things to say about how shit war is, or Spec Ops: The Line, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I get that what it was going for, and I'm sort of glad it exists. Those games could not exist if everyone's waving goodbye before they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So you do rob games of the ability to say certain things.
Well, I mean, but see, that's what's also interesting with this, because there's always been like in like CCP, like Chinese Communist Party, like propaganda, this whole focus on sort of sanitizing violence anyway, and on sort of showing that it's trying to sort of pull the punches in terms of like how horrible conflict and war can be. And this is
because if the people knew, they would never sign up for it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is one of the things. I mean, I was talking about this in the WhatsApp group, and I won't go into this in massive depth because it's really boring. But it's like if you look at like comparing,
save it for the Patreon show, mate.
If you compare like Soviet like art of like war and everything, it's like much more graphic than like Chinese like art of that description, because they didn't want to focus on the suffering and the sacrifice. It's more on like the harmony and the sort of the triumph, like patriotism. It's and this is kind of following the same sort of like line as well. It's like kind of pulling away from people this idea of actually how horrific things can be. It's it's interesting. And just focusing on the patriotism, love your country. That's the most important thing. It's Are
we going to see this in other games like over here? Would it ever happen?
How do you mean? What censorship in this way?
Yeah, I mean, do you see like in the next few years like any sort of crazy and obviously there's like these porn laws coming in. Do you think that this will gradually just start affecting all things, or is it really just like an Eastern thing?
I think it depends on how crazy Theresa May goes. It's like
Well, there's been no limit on that so far.
There hasn't, because even over here, like many years ago, they had like games where it had like green and purple blood and stuff. Maybe that's because they were like Australian. Because Australia obviously is also really bad for that sort of stuff, and those games get banned. And I'm sure, when I was younger, I remember games having like purple and green blood. I'm not sure it's just like a novelty thing, but. So it's not like it hasn't.
I mean, that was because BBFC wouldn't have given them a certificate otherwise, right? I think that was the thing. That doesn't mean. That was before there was rating systems. It just means no shops would carry it.
Yeah, it was before there was like a proper there wasn't like a rating system, was there, in the beginning? Really, for video games, it was like they were feeling their way, through how to do that, and also because there was a general belief at that time that the demography of like video gaming was quite different to what it is now, and that it was mostly younger people playing, and then that was more of a concern. Whereas now,
and like the moral panic around like Fortnite or whatever is that kids are addicted to it.
Yeah,
and making the game less violent, it will not solve that.
Mm-hmm.
So if they did want to try and sanitize games like that, they won't actually find that it makes any difference to it doesn't solve the supposed problem.
Yeah,
anyway,
also, Fortnite, you can say... I'd say that's sort of sanitised compared with PUBG anyway. Because
it's pretty cartoony, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more sort of like cartoon violence or whatever. But
it's pretty cartoony, but they are using real rifles to shoot each other. But it's got a cartoony art style and building and whatnot. But the whole thing is pretty fascinating, actually.
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
Next story is Bethesda have pulled a Elder Scrolls game. Well, it's actually not a full game, but it's a sort of expansion for their Elder Scrolls Online called Elsewhere. Now,
it's always fascinated me how shit that is that the Elder Scrolls has a continent just called Elsewhere. Yeah. It's got a funny fantasy spelling, but for fuck's sake, guys.
Yeah, it's there's absolutely no ideas. Oh yeah, it's spelled ELSWEYR. Yeah.
So this was apparently going to come out, and then it turned out that it's very similar to another D&D adventure that's called The Black Road. And so it came out, and then people, the developer of this other D&D, was looking at it, was like, hang on, there's quite a lot of similarities here. And some of the names are the same, character lists are identical in places, and there's also things that just they've been reworded. I can read you a bit here. We've got a bit here where it says, so from The Black Road it says, travel in the Anorak Desert is slow, hot, and full of blistering sun. And then in Elder Scrolls 1 it says, travelling in the Elsewhere Desert is slow, hot, and full of sizzling heat from the sun. And it's... It's just, and then later on it's got here is more information about the caravan and travel that the characters should know. So it says 4 wagons, each pulled by 2 foul-tempered camels, and there are ones. And then Elder Scrolls says 4 carts, each pulled by 2 horses. And it's just it's the same thing, but just slightly modified each time for each one. It's quite amazing. Bethesda have now removed the content and say that they're investigating what's happened, but. Yeah, it looks
there's also a character that's called the same thing. They both had characters called Chandra Stoll. In the D&D one, it's a priestess. In ESO, it's a priest. So, they made some changes, boy. They made some big changes.
They'd better fully fucking apologise for this, because Bethesda, it's probably ZeniMax, but Bethesda are famously litigious when it comes to people infringing on, or what they think is infringing on their copyright. We all remember when Mojang tried to do a game called Scrolls, and they got shut down by Bethesda for that.
But that's the sad thing is that obviously ZeniMax, they got money to do that. This D&D thing isn't going to have the money to take them to court, and I guess I don't know. The sad thing is, it's going to require someone putting big money to look, we'll take you to court, and there's ZeniMax.
I don't know, man. Wizards of the Coast are fucking huge. I know it's the most embarrassing company name ever, but they are massive.
Okay, cool.
So they look after D&D and Magic the Gathering and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm pretty sure they can
have the money to do what's needed, and so they're not just rolled over by ZeniMax and Bethesda.
Yeah.
My question is this because did Philip Mushin after he finished with IGN go and work for Bethesda?
Yeah, Mushin's new job. I got a job with Bethesda, guys.
Yeah, he's like, it's fine. I'm working on the Elder Scrolls Online now. And
just changed a couple of things. I always feel hardly similar. Priest, this is a priestess. Get over yourself. It's very different.
Yeah,
it fascinates me that if your job, someone tells you right, you need to write a book or what, RPG, but whatever. I don't know, between the choice between just coming up with something and having fun with it versus taking someone else's work and having to go through and subtly reword the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'd rather just have a go myself. I don't really feel like having to go through and reword everything would save me that much time. And it would seem so fucking laborious compared to just actually creating something. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
But also the people that are into this kind of stuff, surely the person would be thinking, hang on, there's a pretty good chance that somebody will have played this or whatever.
Yeah, the internet exists.
There's always a risk. Maybe if you're doing a job and you look at loads of competitors, what they're doing, there's always a risk of having a thought you had an original idea, but actually over your research of weeks and months, actually you've subconsciously taken something you've actually read and you think you've actually thought about it. But that's one thing, maybe being influenced by lots of different things you've seen, but this is out and out copying and changing a couple of words to make it seem different.
Yeah, like the odd sort of scenario, or like say the odd sort of character name or whatever you might forgive, but when it's like loads of sentences that are really obviously, yeah, amazing,
unbelievable.
Okay, last piece of news we got is I've got an Anthem update.
Hey!
Why, James? Why have we?
Well, because it was in the news, Matt. So you have to include this. It was in
Pathetic.
the news.
And the narrative. We're gonna keep kicking this game. Like no one cares. Do you care?
I don't know. I still think it's kind of funny. What have we got, James? Is it a big one or is it?
Okay,
so means a lot.
I mean, this is EA. EA have come out and said that Anthem hasn't met their financial expectations. And
okay, what have you been playing? So, what have you been?
But either way,
news, James, is it?
No, because there's some other content here which is related to this. But so they weren't It's not all bad news, Matt. I've got some good news for you as well.
Oh, that makes a change.
Yeah. So they weren't expecting an immediate return, and so on the game, but apparently they had estimates that were very conservative. However, it failed to meet even these very conservative estimates. But they have said that they're going to continue to support the game and BioWare. So again, it's the dreaded vote of confidence. But the thing about it though is that EA's revenue from like these full game downloads has been up by 10%. And they said that this was driven by the launch of Anthem and by this sort of shift to digital. Because they said almost half, that's like 49% of full game sales on PS4 and Xbox One were digital during the last quarter. I mean, that's quite a big shift really massive, for them.
Yeah.
But then the other thing they said, which I thought was interesting, is that they're talking about how better to launch games. And they're talking about this idea of having like soft launches, like as you usually do with like mobile, rather than these like big release and presentations and stuff, and turning the whole thing into like being like a conversation, as in like, we'll release this, what do you think, how should we modify it, that kind of thing. So it's basically releasing unfinished games and getting the community to do the work.
I was going to say, what are they
That's,
charging for this is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's all very well being like, it's a conversation, guys, we're your mates, it's fine. But not if you're charging me £50 for the privilege.
I mean, they've got a point. If they had said, okay, we're releasing this new games called Anthem, we're going to hold early access and you can get it for like 25 or 30, I don't know, what's a sensible number, people would have forgiven lack of content, some bugs here, some changes, and actually maybe it would be in a much better position now, because it basically, right now, the Anthem is a joke. People that may bought it, and they maybe had it, they bought a disc, good chance they probably sold it, no one's playing it, no one really cares. If you bought digital, you're stuck with it. If I said it's 25, 30 quid, and it is an ongoing conversation, this is early access, we're going to keep building and working with you to fix it, to improve it, it'd be in a much better position now. Much better.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they do it, because it's funny they're like soft launches. Like this game got absolutely destroyed because they had that bloody graphic which had 17 different launch dates depending on whether you bought it on like Origin Access Premier or EA Access Demo or like bought that £150 version. So this game was already getting like beaten up just because of its various release dates. But it'd be interesting. I mean, for games as service games, they absolutely. I mean, it makes sense for you to do a soft launch and stuff. But then games like Division have launched and they've been absolutely fine technically, and they're going from strength to strength, and they've got loads of content.
Like it can be done. Like the issues with like Destiny 2 when it came out were sort of high-end sort of structural problems. Like technically it worked and was very fun for a good, the entire campaign, and a good while afterwards. It was just like if you got to raid level pretty quickly, there wasn't a huge amount to do after that. But like the game worked and was very fun, whereas Anthem hasn't even got that far.
Yeah, but also given everything we've heard from Jason Schreier's reports and other stuff, like they shouldn't have to like change all their business practices because one game was really poorly led. Like this game seems like, from what we heard,
it's not the only one though, is it?
No, it's not the only one. But like in terms of, it's good to look at their business practices and how they can improve things and streamline things and make it better for consumers stuff. But also, it's like, don't change the entire business because one game was really shittily managed for the entire thing and it didn't blow up.
But it's not the first one.
No, well,
I guess
also
Andromeda was. I mean, it was fine, but
Andromeda got killed because it had okay, but that was more like microtransaction stuff, wasn't it? That wasn't technical, was it?
No, it was because it was not very good.
It was technical. It was a technical mess,
and the wonky facial animations and just the fact that like the story wasn't quite right. And now, if you look at retrospectives, it turns out again, it's another one where the game we actually got was made in about 12 months.
Oh, right,
because
right.
of just hilarious mismanagement. And yeah.
But I mean, also, the other thing with this is maybe we're also seeing what the limits are to live service games in the sense of how many the market can support. Like, not every game can support that at all. I mean, we've had this, and there's also been Fallout 76 as well, which has been like, that's been a bit of a disaster. It's like, it seems you can't release something which is like really half-assed and then expect people to sort of sit around when there's so many other like really good alternatives, that people can go for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like Fortnite's a constant. We've got things like Division, Destiny. Like if games are like a disaster on day one, then people, maybe they buy them, maybe they won't, and they'll go back to playing the games they know work, and they've spent years playing. But also, I suppose how many games we can any of us can play. If you play Destiny and you love Destiny, you don't really have much time for any other games, let alone another games as a service game.
Yeah. I mean, totally. if you think when Destiny came out, and I mean, I'm aware that Destiny had a lot of problems when it first came out. If that game had come out as it is now, I don't think it would have been given the chances that it was given, with the community or whatever, for such a long time. Right. It's just there wasn't any other, there wasn't really any alternatives at that stage. Whereas now
it was quite a pioneer, in terms of what it was trying to do, and we didn't fully understand, it is kind of an MMO but a shooter, but so that as you say, I think it got a fair bit of leeway because it was so new, and as I say, it made a lot of missteps, but people were like, but the shooting is really fun. And then Taken King came out, and everyone went like, okay, so let's just forget year one. Let's pretend that never happened. Move forward from there. But Division 2 is an interesting example because by all accounts, there's fuck all wrong with it. It's a perfectly decent game. And that, I mean, I haven't seen many people talking about it. We've had listeners saying that our clan's not particularly active.
I think that's just on Xbox,
Yeah, but the Destiny 2 one is absolutely fine. So
for Division specifically, they announced the raid is coming this week actually. So the Division's first 8-player raid. There's a big new patch coming with buffs and nerfs, weapons, new balancing and stuff. But Division 2, it worked perfectly from launch. It seems to be done fine so far. But I think with Division 2, they didn't say, okay, it's a sequel, but totally rewriting everything from the ground up. It felt like they built on what they'd learned in the first year and did more the same but improved it, whereas Destiny 2 certainly is we are changing everything, and actually a lot of things they changed people wanted to go back to Destiny 1. So I mean, when you start a new game, you obviously haven't got the learning. You're starting from scratch. For sequels, it feels like the lesson is don't totally rewrite the rule. Oh God, I've done it again. But don't change everything. Just don't rewrite the rule, for fuck's sake.
Oh, okay.
Just keep going, basically. Yeah.
But no, you're totally right about that, because I was playing Division 2 on last weekend, and with some people that I usually play with, and we were just commenting on how, because we played a lot of the original Division, and this really doesn't feel like much of a change from the first game. It really doesn't. And I don't know where those ideas that people seem to have of it being this massive evolution have come from, because sure, it looks nicer, but structurally and everything, it feels really similar. I don't know, I'm still not completely blown away by it, and I've been really surprised by people that have been. But then I do wonder if that's because that was people that didn't play the Division after it had been modified for so much, and improved upon. It's it doesn't feel
blown away by it. I think they were just really happy and satisfied that it works and it was solid, and there was lots to do, and there wasn't server issues, and everyone's saying there's basically just so much content in that game. I think it's this works and I'm having fun, and there wasn't all the stress of the servers and lack of content or badly done missions. It's just more the same. It works. There's lots to do. That's all you need, isn't it?
That's it.
Shall we not talk about Anthem anymore?
Oh yeah, come on, James.
Until it's good.
If things happen, we've got to talk about it. We've got to be topical.
Again, you didn't talk about the month it got to number one in NPD sales numbers, because that just conveniently didn't hit your list because it's not part of your narrative. So,
no, I did. Today I talked about how it had been a driver.
I had to bring that up because you conveniently forgot, even though it did really well in sales.
It had been a driver for EA's digital sales.
You mentioned that now, but you just talk about Anthem basically every single week, apart from that 1 week when I was like, oh, James, it did really well in sales. Number one in November in the US and the UK. No, there was no mention of that. No mention of that, was there?
Yeah, there was no need, was there, at that time? There was other more important news at that stage. So
unbelievable. I mean, I'm not an Anthem fan, but come on, be fair. Be fair.
Is that it? Is that it for the news?
That is it, yeah. I'm done.
Be fair, James.
Cool. Right, what have we been playing? I'll start because I think everyone else has played the same things as me.
We've all played a lot of stuff, the same games, which is always what I love.
Yeah. So first off, Life is Strange 2 Episode 3.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Oh, God. So you and I played this, haven't we? Like, James, you haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it because I wasn't expecting Sean to play it, so I just didn't bother.
Oh, was the constant fucking goading from you and the listeners? Was that not a clue that maybe I was going to get a move on this time?
Sean was going to be lazy again. So
I thought you just ignore everyone. I didn't think you were going to actually do it.
Man, it's fucking great. It's really good.
Really
Obviously, we're not going to go into detail, A, because it would spoil it, and B, because we will do a special podcast about it.
As soon as James has finished a game.
Yeah, come on, mate. But yeah, probably the best episode of this series so far, and overall, I do think I prefer this to Life is Strange 1. I mean, I'll see how I feel by the end. But I know, everyone's saying the release schedule is really hurting it, and I do get that. The episodes are very far apart. But I'm amazed more people aren't talking about this. Considering how much chatter there was about the first series, which was great. I'm not I'm not retrospectively slagging that off. It was amazing. But this is up there and possibly surpasses it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely amazing episode. I absolutely loved it. I'm not sure if I prefer this or episode 1, but it's obviously way far ahead than episode 2. I thought it was just, it was great from the off. For the first time ever in these sorts of games, including I played Walking Dead and played some other Telltale games, there was a choice where I literally just had to put the pad down. Yep. I made a cup of tea, went downstairs. I was really thinking so hard, 15, 20 minutes, thinking well, what do I do here? I know there's ramifications either way, and it's
because it gets you to make decisions that are similar to ones you've already made, and you're thinking, well, last time I did this and was punished for it. But what does that mean? What's it trying to make? Is it trying to teach me that those are the rules that I should follow? Or is it just going to try and wrong foot me no matter what I do? Or... Yeah,
it's very hard to second guess where you think the game's going to go given either one of your choices. But I didn't have any of the technical issues. For episode 2, I had some issues whereby you would have some dialogue, some audio dialogue being played, and then if you maybe clicked on something else, both audios would play at the same time, and it was a bit buggy. Again, I played that on the first couple of nights. I played this on the first couple of nights. Didn't have any issues at all with this game,
I had
thankfully.
One character who was sat on a chair, and they sort of floated around for 2 seconds and then went back to the chair again.
Okay, this isn't a spoiler, but was it Jacob?
No.
Oh, okay, right. I can't wait to talk about that guy on spoiler cast, because there's a scene that made me laugh so hard. It wasn't intentional at all, but I can't wait to talk about it. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
But
cool.
So me, Sean, and Dave have all finished it. Once James is done, we'll do the spoiler cast. So I can't wait. I think there's going to be a lot to talk about. Within the first minute, I was like, "Oh my god!" And I've got a lot of notes written down.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
really excited about doing
but again, in terms of release schedule, the next one's not out until August.
Yeah, it's just a long way off.
I think Dave commented in our WhatsApp group, this felt like it was coming out pretty quickly. I think it felt like that to us because we obviously only did the spoiler cast last month, so it might not feel so bad.
It, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was,
but we're going to hopefully record spoiler cast next week or 2, and then it'll be 3 months away, which is, it is what it is. It's a shame. And that, I think, I hear so much more now these days of people saying, oh, I'm just going to wait till the whole thing comes out on disc, or I'll buy the whole thing as a bundle when it comes out and play it that way. And I can see that.
Hate on that. I think, I can totally see why people do that, just because they are so far apart. It's not like I'm starting up each episode and being like, oh, what was happening? I've forgotten. I always remember, and it does a nice little recap anyway, in a really nice way as well. It's not just previously on Life is Strange.
I love the animated sort of.
Yeah, man. Yeah, really nice.
The recaps are great, but but I can. So when Walking Dead was coming out, which we all loved, and that was I hate the phrase, but it's like a water cooler thing every time. So everyone's talking about it. What did they come out monthly or every 6 or 8 weeks, or?
I thought it was every 2 months. Because everyone's talking about it, and it
wasn't they couldn't have sustained conversation if it was over this sort of length of time. Do you guys remember how long the gap was between episodes of Walking Dead?
No idea.
Do you mean the most recent one, or do you mean
no?
The first series.
It's a series one where everyone's playing it. Feel like everyone's playing it. Feel like everyone's talking about it.
I'm sure it was only about. I'm sure it was 2 months, like tops. I'm sure it wasn't like anything more than
2
that.
months isn't so bad. Like 3 months is like, I mean, monthly would be perfect. And the idea of like episodic gaming that we're led to believe originally was like, oh, things come monthly on a regular schedule, like watching a TV show or listen to a podcast. You knew it was coming. You knew you could prepare and you can get excited. And or maybe a game's already made, but they would split up into little episodic chunks like this. Clearly, the game isn't made yet, as in like all the remaining episodes, and it's just a shame you have to wait 3 months. But it's such a good game. I'm loving the series so far.
Yeah, like minor technical issues aside, they are absolutely nailing it as far as I'm concerned. So I can't be too angry at them for taking as long as they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But
so
absolutely excellent. And the next episode, I can't wait already. And
man.
Yeah, can't wait to do a spoiler cast. It's going to be good. If you're listening to this and you maybe started playing Life is Strange 2 or you want to, we've done a couple of spoiler casts already for this series. They're on the main podcast feed. So, but go back if you've started playing recently and hear all of our decisions and arguments mostly.
Right, so the other thing I've played is the demo for Everybody's Golf VR, which is the strangest demo for a game I've played in a long time. So obviously Matt and James know where I'm going with this. But so you load it up and it's like, right, here's the tutorial and you're on just like a driving range and it explains, like here's how you switch clubs, here's how you do this, that and the other. It's got similar to I think it might have only been Wii Sports U that did this, or maybe it was the original Wii Sports as well. But basically, you can practice your swing, but then like you press a button to then make the club sort of becomes real. Because you're doing your practice swings and like the club just sort of swings through the ball. And it tells you how good the hit was, but you haven't actually hit the ball. So once you've done a couple of practices, then press a button to then engage with the ball, and then you hit it for real. And you do like a couple of practice shots. And it's like, hey, great, well done. And then you finish the tutorial, and it sends you back to like the club reception. And you've got basically your options are like carry on practicing at the driving range or go on a course. And you're like, fuck, right, cool. Let's go and do some actual golf. And you select that and it does this whole, there's this little cutscene where you meet your caddy.
Caddy was nice.
And then
I was happy about the caddy. The caddy was nice. I was happy about the caddy.
James, when I played this, I thought, oh god, James is going to love this. I don't know why. I was like, I thought about you instantly when there's this like life size cat. No, it is a caddy, isn't it? But there's also someone in the lobby. I was like, oh god, James is going to anyway. But for all this time, there was also lots of tutorials, like tutorial in the driving range, tutorial when it gets to the lobby, tutorial. You're still learning lots. I was like, okay, this is building up.
Yeah. So you're like, right, cool, let's play some fucking golf. Can't wait. And then loads up the course and it drops you in and like, holy shit, like I had a full. It's like we're all sort of more or less used to VR now. But I did have a proper like looking round and like, oh my god, this is fucking
great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, as soon as you're on the tee, like, oh, this is just
because it put me on
brilliant.
Yeah, because I know it's random, but it put me on a hole where like it started off at like the top of a hill and it was like looking down into this like sort of valley, but you know what I mean.
Sorry, is it random? Did you say?
Yeah,
it changes every time.
Okay, like so the hole you dropped in on mine was like a par 3. It's like I could see the pin. I could see it like it was also I was on like a hill, but it was like a bit of a lake. There's like some water, in front of me and below, but I could basically, I could see the green over the way. So was it a totally different hole for you then?
Yeah. Sounds like that was really different.
I didn't realise that.
So so then you're like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
Good pun.
And then, so you do, you like do your practice swings, you check, you choose your club, do your practice swings. You're like, right, cool. You press the button to engage with the ball, and it says, "Oh, you sure you want to quit?" And you're like, "What? No, cancel that." And then you like press the button again, same thing again, and. And I mean, I had to Google this, and I know, James, you were asking us on WhatsApp. Yeah. I was like, I was going on the instructions, I was checking the buttons. It's like, definitely pressing the right button. And it turns out that in the demo, you can't actually play like a hole of golf. It just you can load the course and look around, but the only thing you can actually play is the driving range.
Utterly
but it
baffling.
Doesn't say
it's
that.
A baffling
it's like
decision.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, it's one thing it being that stingy, but it just doesn't explain itself at all, does it?
Yeah, the thing that pops up, it says basically like, go back to reception. It's like, what? No, I'm playing golf. Like, no, play the hit. It's like, go back to. It's like, is this a bug? Like, what do you mean go back to reception? Am I pressing like a reception button I haven't seen before? I'm pressing the button I need to press to engage the ball. It doesn't say this is a demo. Thanks for playing. If you want to do this, but it's like.
See, you know, before I sent you that WhatsApp message, I'd actually reset my PS4 twice because I thought because I thought I was doing something wrong. I was just like, what is wrong with this?
Yeah,
this is just not working, and it's it was.
Oh, got him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think we're all getting it day one.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Because, like, okay, so the courses look stunning, and just messing around on the driving range, and like you know, it's not just a driving range. You can practice like your chips and your putts and stuff. It plays a good fucking game of golf.
Oh god, yes.
Like,
I mean, I've always loved boys golf anyway.
Yeah.
I'm known to like my VR. And the graphically, this game outsuits VR to a T. Like it's not ultra realistic graphics. It's the classic Everboys Golf graphics you know and love. It's like,
and they've made the characters realistic, haven't they? They've lost the sort of which is for people like James, I guess. Yeah, but
absolutely, for purpose such. But it's got like gorgeous blue skies. It's got that sort of standard sort of Everboys Golf happy music. Graphically, it's got like the right amount of detail. It looks really nice. Like even holding the club, like it's got a nice level of detail. It's not ultra realistic, but it's like the same graphical style you know and love, and that works so well given VR's sort of capabilities currently on PS4.
Yeah, and like it's just so strange because you go from like really fucking resenting it for just sort of showing you the course, but then not actually able to actually being able to play it. But then you're like, but to be fair, I'm coming away from the demo going like. Plays a really good game of golf, feels great. Like I'm not like like as great as like Wii Sports was. I didn't feel like the golf stuff was like hugely consistent. And I'm sure there'll be people who tell me otherwise. But I was never entirely sure how much skill there was to it. My wife, who actually used to play golf, would certainly agree. She fucking hated Wii Sports golf. Whereas this feels like you can, with a bit of practice, you can get a degree of consistency, and you feel like you're getting better. And you feel like you're actually, learning a thing. So you're like, okay, so that's there. And I know the courses look amazing. So actually, I do know everything I need to decide that I'm going to buy this. But I just couldn't believe how they just fucking blue ball you by being like...
Oh, it's such a cock tease. I'm like, you're not... Are you seriously? Like... And then... So when I basically I did a tutorial, did like 1 or 2 shots. I was like, okay, this is awesome. I get the general mechanics, and then I will because actually you played before, James, before I did, and when you said, oh, how do I like hit it? When you got to that end bit, when I went into it, I was like, oh my god, I think it's quite complex mechanics because James is having trouble. So when I was in the tutorial, I was like, okay, I'll do a few shots, but I think I've got the hang of this. I mean, I don't think it's going to suddenly confuse me with confusing mechanics. It seems good so far. I don't know what James is having problems with. And then I got to the T, and I was like, oh my god! But I'd only played like 2 or 3 practice shots. We went back to the driving range. Actually, there's actually loads of stuff you can do there, which I think most people, if they just do a tutorial and a couple of shots and go to the tee, and then like this demo is the worst demo I've ever played, they're going to leave and say there's nothing to it. But actually, you can go to the driving range, you can go on the ground floor and hit like balls as hard as you can, changing clubs. There's also those little nets you get at golf ranges where you can like try and chip the ball into the net. And I spent like at least half an hour trying to do that. But also then you can you can press a button on the Move controller because it's all Move controller based. I think you probably can play it with the pad, but I played it with Move. You can then like use that to like move your player anywhere in the driving range.
So can you? I didn't try that.
I was moving myself to bunkers, to chip the ball in. I was moving myself like on tees to do some putting. I was moving myself all over that huge driving range. And I basically played the game for like the demo for 2 hours, and that was on one night. And I could definitely see myself going back again because it just I particularly trying to get the balls in the little nets. I was like practicing because I wanted to get both of them in. When I was like changing. I was like going in the bunkers, moving myself to a bunker, putting myself in sanding wedge, and trying to like chip the ball, not out of the bunker, but out of the bunker and down the hole, and doing putting. It feels so good. And unlike a lot of PSVR games I have played, if you just like hold your controller, often that would like shake or maybe it move forward and backwards with like some weird tracking thing, but holding the move controller out with the club, it was perfectly still, had no troubles whatsoever. It felt natural to sort of like swing, to putt, to do like a proper full swing when you're driving. This is such a massive day one purchase. I cannot wait. The only thing
it's not full price, is it? It's like
no, I think it's like 25 or so quid. I think it comes out on the 22nd of May, so next week.
Cool.
The only issue, right? I mean, I played Everybody's Golf on like PS3 and PS4, and when I used to be like do loads of stuff on Rollmock Forum, we used to do like Everybody's Golf golf on like Sundays and do like multiplayer. This game is not a multiplayer.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
It's just a massive bloke. I mean, I don't know how hard that would be to implement and with like VR and stuff, but imagine I could fully imagine all of us doing like, lovely relaxing at 9-hole, 18-hole VR and chatting with the headsets. It'll be absolutely class. As it is, I think it's going to be really relaxing and enjoyable VR golf game, and I absolutely cannot wait. I'm a little bit disappointed with no multiplayer, because it would have been absolutely brilliant to play with you guys for like a really cool, chill, relax VR golf game.
Because it's not like amazing. It's not like you say, oh well, we'll stick local multiplayer in instead, because it's a VR game, so you can't really do that. So so the fact they just haven't done like online multiplayer at all, I guess they just didn't want the headache of like having other player-controlled avatars bobbing around with their hands moving around.
Yeah,
and stuff. I guess
think there was a quote
much.
saying like, well, we might look into it, but I think that basically says no.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've loved Everybody's Golf from the ones I played on like Vita, PS3, PS4. This seems to work so well in VR, and I just feel happy inside like the game with like the music and the graphics and like. Yeah, it's just
because it's one of those games that like it's always just been like a perfectly decent golf sim, but there was something about the tone of it and it's always been quite a nice place to be. So like actually it being in VR is like makes perfect sense because it just
Did you go back to it at all, James, after your issue?
Oh, is he gone? James has gone to be sick.
Oh no.
Oh heck. Okay, we'll just crack on. I hope he does return though, because I'm about to talk about Destiny 2.
What if he doesn't? How about I go on something else and then we'll come back to this thing. So what else? I played some Bloodborne, still loving that. I played Virtua Racing on Switch. I mean, it wasn't my copy. A guy from Word brought it in on Switch. Virtua Racing. I played a little bit of Mega Drive. And had like the extra cart and that stuff to make it fancy.
I don't know a lot about the game, but that can't be the best way to play it.
No. I don't remember ever playing it in the arcade, but this on Switch, it's so incredibly fast. I have seen like some Digital Foundry people say it's like better than Arcade Perfect. But like it's incredibly fast, and I actually had like an absolute blast playing like a couple of laps. Also, you can play up to 8 players on one Switch console, which means that one Switch screen can be split into 8 different like sections for 8 player. Like me and my mate Joe at work, we play 2-player, and even that we're both quite. So we're on my desk with like with a Joy-Con each playing it, and we're both quite close to the screen, sort of squinting, and out to 2 of us. You can get up to 8 on that console.
Wow!
And it's so fast. Like I think it's 60 frames if you play single player, and it goes down to 30 frames a second if you play multiplayer.
Okay.
But even that, it's still incredibly, incredibly fast, and also it's got a thing whereby if you hit someone, whether they hit you from behind or you hit them from the front, like you spin out, and there's loads. But it's really, really fantastic fun. I haven't played that game for so long. But I mean, I don't think I'll ever get a chance. But I would love to see 8 people attempting to play around one tiny Switch console. It'll be absolute madness. Did you ever play it back in the day?
I didn't know.
I played it.
I was never. I mean, like Sega Rally, yes, but I know.
Yes.
Virtua Racing, I never got involved.
So you said, did you play it, James? Or James was back.
I did. Yeah, I played it on Mega Drive, like with the one that came out on that was like with the plug-in. It was had like the extra stuff in it because I had a friend who was rich and he had a copy of that. And
it's brilliant.
Did it have a soda stream?
Are you tempted? Did he have a soda stream as well, James?
I don't know actually. He might have done.
He did. I guarantee he did.
Mega Drive and a soda stream.
You probably missed it, James, because I think you were being sick or doing a poo. But basically, I said I played some work on. You what? Sorry.
Thanks. I just said thanks.
Okay, nice. No worries. I was playing a work with my mate Joe Boy, and we were playing like 2-player on the same Switch console, and you can play up to 8 players, and 2 players was mad enough as it was. It was really, really fast, and it's quite hard to see what you're doing. So 8-player on Switch would be absolutely mental. But we went on to Virtua Racing, James, because Sean wants to talk about Destiny 2, but I do want to talk about you being in the room.
Yeah.
So let's go Destiny 2.
Should we do that? Okay, so this week James and I did and streamed a raid with a bunch of the listeners who were really cool, and it was a really good time. I sort of knew what to expect, but obviously, James, this was your first raid experience, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And it was very enjoyable.
You enjoyed it. Good. Yeah. I'm glad. You see what I mean about like the way the bosses work and how it's like it's really quite unlike anything else.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's shooting but also puzzles, but in like a really interesting way.
Yeah.
And the way it forces communication, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it.
It was much better than I was expecting to be, in the sense, not because of like playing with other people, but just in like sort of the diversity of things that you have to do like within the raid was more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So that was great.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
so this was a raid lair rather than like a full raid. Like, how do you think that worked as like a 2-hour experience, Sean?
Yeah, so it's like a slightly cut down. This was like response to like people. So like in the first year, like most of the criticism was from the sort of diehard fans who were like, there's not enough to do. But also there was people like me who were like, well, I really love this, but I'm never going to have time to do a raid. So yeah, they put a couple of these raid layers in, which were, I think there's only like 2 sort of major encounters. Normally a raid has like 4 or 5, I think. And like what's fascinating is I had a quick look through the stream that we did. I don't know if you noticed this, James. So the place where we fight the final boss. So out of the 2-hour stream, we were there by like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
So like what in my head was like just that's just the last bit was actually more than half of it.
That's a bit like the Deadly Premonition stream I did the other night, which was I was looking back at that, and the last boss that I got stuck on turned out it was an hour and a quarter I was trying to do that, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it's terrible.
But it was properly enjoyable. I mean, I won't go into the mechanics and stuff because it's really not fun to just have it described to you. But like that's sort of what's fascinating is even when you have people like showing you what to do, like they'll run through it once and you kind of go like, okay, I don't think I took any of that in, but let's have a go and see what happens. And you just, like it's a little bit trial and error, but you start to get your head around it and you realise like, right, cool, everyone's like got a job and you're all sort of looking for different things and calling things out. And it's just properly fascinating. Like I can't wait. Like hopefully, James, we can get you, get your power level high enough so we can do the Last Wish because that's proper good. And you'll actually get like cool stuff from it. Whereas the one we did, obviously, because it's only like a year 1 raid, like none of the gear we got was actually useful. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it was a great bunch of lads, and it was it was fun to play.
Yeah, that's it for me. That's what I mean. I played more Dragon's Dogma, but
to you actually, James, and then you disappeared about Everybody's Golf. So did you play much more other than when? Yeah, apart from you got to the hole and you can play, did you go back to do more practice at all?
A little bit, but then I got bored and I stopped playing. But
you got bored?
Yeah, because it's all right. I mean. I probably will get it because I did that's the thing what you were saying, Sean, about how when you're first put on the green and you like sort of you can look around and all that. It was exactly what I wanted. It was like exactly how I wanted it to be. And that's why I was so annoyed that they wouldn't even let you have one hit. Yeah. It's like that's just insane. I don't know what
that's the thing. Like if it was just one hole, fine. Like that would have been enough.
Better than nothing.
Still a bit stingy, but I don't know.
But you can get a lot of the same feelings just down a practice area. It's not the same, but you can still get in a hole and it still makes a sound and do all the stuff.
Makes the sound. Yeah.
It makes the sound.
I did spend quite a while just putting, and when I first got one in, I involuntarily did a little fist pump.
I did that definitely. Yeah.
I think it was also because in the beginning of it, there's such a long, like the tutorial at the beginning is quite long, and so it feels like it's like building up to you. Then you can go on the green or whatever, and then it's like no. You're not doing that.
I spent 15 minutes learning mechanics that I can't use. I was like, are you serious? That's why I had to go back to do more practice just to get my money's worth from the free demo. Yeah. It's a definite day one. Cannot wait. Yeah. And it's just, you feel nice. Like, if all the shit going on in the world, play around or play some Everboys Golf. If you're not getting the VR one, just play Everboys Golf on the PS4. It's bloody brilliant.
It is very good.
It's the first thing I've played in a while that feels like genuine escapism, I think.
Yeah, it's so nice. There's no like, like battle pass. There's just like, you just play a game and it's nice. There's nice music and it's nice sunshine and it's all just
a par 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Huh?
Saying it's a par 4. Yeah, they say that at the beginning. Never mind.
Yeah,
forget it.
Par 4. It's par for the course.
Jesus. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've got. James, how are you feeling? Do you want to get yours out of the way?
Yeah, please.
I mean, I suppose you have to do 2 now, don't you?
Yeah, I've got. So, I mean, I played 2 things. I mean, one of them Matt has played as well, which was Days Gone. And I mean, Matt, you're definitely much further into this than I am, I think, because I've not played it that much yet. Right. I mean, I'll tell you what I feel so far. I mean, I've only played it for about 2 or 3 hours, I think now, and it looks absolutely fine. And it's also not as cringeworthy as I was expecting it to be. Like, from all the reviews and everything I'd read, and from all the other stuff, I was expecting really like appalling dialogue and everything. But from the beginning, it hasn't been too bad. It's it's not been so bad at all. But the game also has.
Yeah, I mean, the lines themselves are. Okay, I mean, I haven't got to the really
cringe. Well, they're not great, are they? But it's not.
No, they're not great. But actually, I think what saves it is that it's really, really well performed. I can't remember the name of the actor, but it's a really great performance from the lead character who does Deacon. There's another guy, Boozer, he's like his mate, and it's not quite as good, but the main guys are delivering his lines. It's really well acted, at least. I mean, the writing isn't incredible, but it's fine at the moment. At least
that bit is good. I think it's not too bad at all. And then you can tell that they had, because they got feedback, didn't they, after people had played it, I think last year, and then people were like, "This is really bad, like what you're doing here with the dialogue and everything." And it seems they did change it, but they didn't take out all like the muttering that he does in the world, which is just really
that is
weird.
Strange.
It's really weird because he's muttering like, like a serial killer or whatever, as he's like walking around, and it doesn't fit like the character at all. It feels really off, like, and just odd, but also entertaining. I mean, it's quite funny with him sort of like muttering to himself about murdering people and stuff. But
because it obviously, like, in the first cutscene, like he like his like wife gets her, and then like as soon after that, it's like 2 years later, 730 odd days later, and like she's dead, and it's obviously incredibly emotional for like the first cutscene, but then so it's quite soft and like sad because the world's gone to shit or whatever. But then you sneak up on anywhere, and it's like I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna kill you, you bitch. It's like it's very odd. It's just weird, and is like creepy, and it's like also you might have like literally just finished a cutscene where it's like I can't believe it, and oh my god, I've got to do that, and then it's like cutscene ends, you then sneak to a campsite, I'm gonna kill you. You like that? You like that, don't you? It's weird and awkward.
It is very odd. It just feels
and apparently
like something.
That only increases, James. Apparently that gets more and more prevalent as we get onto the game.
Yeah. It's just the disconnect between the two is very odd, and it just feels like it was something that was left in by mistake. Like from an earlier build or something. It's very odd.
It almost feels like two characters. It's like it's almost like this is a different. It's like a different person in his mind, and that's like this murderous rampage, and it's crazy. But it doesn't do my head in. It's just a weird thing.
But then also I feel, it's nailed the environment though. It feels. I was saying to you, and you were saying the same thing. It's like you feel cold and wet when you're playing it because it's got probably the best weather effects I think I've ever seen in a game. Like they're amazing, and especially like the driving rain. It looks fantastic, and it's just. When you slide around in the mud, like on your bike and everything, it feels just like like it gets all the mud gets in your wheels and stuff. It looks really good, and but I do feel a bit overwhelmed with everything that I need to do with it though. But maybe that's just because I'm not that far into it. But it doesn't feel like it's quite got that Ubisoft like throw icons over everything thing. But it does feel like there's a lot of things that I've got to get my head around. But I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it took me a bit of a while to get my head around the various all like controls and mechanics, because it does that thing that early PS4 games did, where it uses almost every feature of the DualShock. I mean, it hasn't told me to like shake it yet, but like it uses the touchpad. Like if you like, you don't have to like press a button to go to a menu. You basically just have to swipe right on the touchpad anytime that takes you to the map.
I quite like that.
So yeah, I like it. Like swipe down to get to inventory, up for like skills or something. Basically, there's basically four things you can do just by literally simply swiping. You don't have to go to menu then select something. So I think that's quite nice. But it is sort of old school PS4 where they're using the touchpad loads for anything. Yeah, but no, you're totally right. Like when the sun comes out, you feel nice, and when the rain's down, you feel really horrible and damp and wet and cold and horrible. And yeah, like skidding around in the mud, you just feel it's like really like like sloppy and I don't know. But I'm still enjoying the game. So you're 3 hours in or so, James?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Not very far in at all.
And you want to keep playing it, do you?
I do, yeah. I mean, yeah, I just feel sick at the moment because I don't really feel like playing games. But I do want to get back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, there is lots on the map, and like there's like you can go to all over the map to clear out like a certain amount of nests, which are things you basically burn, and there's loads of them to do. But I basically just going from mission to mission. There are some side missions where it basically sort of asks you to do, so there's some side things I'm doing on the way, and I'm finding actually going from one mission to the other, I'm having like tiny, small adventures on the way. Nothing like, Breath of the Wild type thing where you generally are adventuring and meet new people, but I would be doing a mission, and on the way to a mission I'll get a call to do something else, and it'll be on the way, so I'll do it, and maybe then like I went for a tunnel, and then suddenly I think they're called Marauders, or there's like another gang or something. There's some bad guys basically, and I'll go for a tunnel with like someone who I've got from a mission, but I have to stop and kill these guys on the way, and then go back to the mission. Which I think is quite cool. I'm still enjoying it. It's not gonna blow anyone away in terms of story and dialogue, but I'm enjoying it so far. I met my first horde earlier today, which is genuinely terrifying. It's certainly like a much larger group of zombies than I've encountered up to now. Although I heard actually hordes were really like an end game thing, 50 hours in, so maybe like a proper horde is at the end, and this is just a really large group of zombies. But I was just finishing a mission, and it was wet, it was horrible, it was dark, and I was like in this like woodland area, and suddenly I like turned a corner, and there's what looks like 50 or 100 zombies, and freakers. Up to now, I've maybe encountered like pockets of 5, like a few pockets of 5 here and there, 3 to 5. But this is like there's absolutely shitloads of them. And then like the music changed. I was like, okay, clearly like they're making like this is a big deal, and it was quite scary because I thought, well, the only way to get out of this area is go along this bridge, and there's a few there. And then I like went over the bridge, and I just saw like another massive group of people, and I was getting chased, and I panicked, and I hit like the edge of a bridge, and I was supposed to go over it, and I grabbed my motorcycle, and the music was like the tension was ratcheting up. But I'm still really enjoying it. I'm still happy to plug away at the game, but it is quite exhilarating to see a horde. At least I think that's a horde. Maybe they're really hardcore and they're massive towards the end of the game. But yeah, still enjoying it massively actually.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be on any like Game of the Year lists or whatever, but it is fun.
Definitely not.
I don't know. We have got Matt Murray on this podcast. Anything could happen.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I'm going to push this year as my game of the year. It just gets me more excited for Last of Us 2. I mean, I was pumped anyway, but my God, like, imagine this, but of an incredible story, incredible characters, and
imagine this, but actually really good.
Yeah, imagine this, but like a 10. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
course,
I mean, the only other thing I've played is I've played The Messenger.
Oh shit! How is it? Because I've got this on because this was on Twitch Prime, wasn't it? As a freebie.
Because this came out last year,
a while back.
On PS4 and PC and stuff.
Yeah, but also it's on sale on Switch at the moment.
Yeah, which is where I got it. And
how much is it? Do you know?
It's £8.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I got it because I didn't feel like starting Dragon's Dogma, even though I've got it, and I know I must. But I just wanted something a bit different before I started.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And so I started playing this, and it's brilliant, Sean. I really think it's brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, the first third of the game. Do you know about it? Like the whole thing with it.
I gather there is like a mechanical spoiler partway through.
Yeah. Well, there's a visual one and a mechanical one, which is quite interesting. Should I spoil that or not? Because I don't know if I can.
Can you talk around it? because I am probably going to play this soon.
I thought it's fairly well known, isn't it? But whatever.
I've managed to avoid it.
Really? But, I thought we've even mentioned it on this podcast, but
well,
it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, the first third of the game, which is kind of where I'm at the moment, plays like Ninja Gaiden, but it also reminds me a lot of Celeste, actually. But much more forgiving, because it's just like full-on platforming. And it's got this really good sort of checkpoint system, which is very generous and has stopped me from feeling like frustrated at any point. And it does this thing where when you die, you get taken back to the checkpoint, but there's this little demon guy who, in exchange for rewinding the time for you, takes money that you collect until you paid off the debt. So, and I think the main purpose of this mechanically is to try and stop you for because you can upgrade your character, and I think it's to stop you grinding for upgrades, like to stop you from thinking, okay, I'm just going to die and just keep getting these until I can go back and upgrade my character. So it's also a nice reminder of the failure without feeling really awful. It works very well, and I mean he follows you around, and as you collect stuff, they just get sucked up to him, and then eventually he just disappears because he's had enough. But later on, you can even upgrade so that the amount that you have to pay him gets halved and stuff like that. So it's not quite so bad. So, I mean, the other thing, I'm going to have to dance around it, but because if you play this, and I think you should, because it is, I mean, the thing that I've enjoyed about it most is that it just feels not frustrating at all. It doesn't feel incredibly easy, but it also doesn't feel incredibly frustrating, mostly because of the checkpoint system, but also with the bosses that I've done so far, I've never felt like I can't do one, where it's going to be impossible. And every time I failed, it has again been my where I've just thought, yep, I could have done that better. And it does usually bosses really telegraph their moves really obviously, so that you know when you're supposed to move. And if you don't, it's because you're being greedy and you're trying to get new hits in. It's that similar sort of Dark Souls kind of thing or whatever, But it works very, very well. You see, it nails the feeling I used to have playing games like this on the Mega Drive and stuff as a teenager, and that's what I really want. I mean, the soundtrack is also brilliant as well. I mean, this is another Devolver game, isn't it? It's another Devolver published game, and it really is great. I mean, I'm enjoying it very, very much. Probably, I'd say I'm enjoying it more so than I did Katana Zero, even actually. In terms of that was a fantastic game, but this feels more like a game, if that makes any sense. Whereas Katana Zero felt more like they were trying to make a statement or trying to create a new sort of experience or something. This feels like they're just trying to nail this type of game, and they really have. It's brilliant. I mean, and I can't really say much more than that without spoiling where it goes. Because
well, I'll tell you what. I promise I will play it for next week, and then we can
because
spoil it for everyone else, I guess.
you only need probably about. I mean, it took me maybe about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get to the point where things happen, where there's shifts, and and after that, things have really changed and become even more interesting now, I think. If you get to that, that'd be good, because
I mean, should I suppose you can't really answer this for me, but should I just get it on Switch, or should I actually make the effort to play it on? I should just make the effort to play it on PC, shouldn't I?
If you don't want to spend any money, but it's really good on Switch. It's nice on that. I mean, I like playing it on that because although I do, it has got this really weird approach to double jumping, whereby it doesn't do a regular double jump. You have to hit something with your sword and then press the jump button, so that then it does a double jump. So you can't just use it all the time. You have to jump off things basically. And in the beginning, I found this really difficult, but then I found it was just easier just to press both buttons at the same time, and it kind of always does it, so it's fine. Okay. But it's that was quite irritating to begin with. But the upgrades you get as a character are pretty good as well. It's good. It's really very good, and I certainly would recommend it, especially now in the sale. It's £8. It's not bad.
Yeah, cool. I promise I will play that for next week.
Please do, because it's good.
Cool. Is that us for what we've been playing?
I think it is.
Brilliant. Emails. James, are you up to this, or do you want one of us to?
Can you read it, please?
So, Matt, if I do emails and you do tweets, is that all right?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Cool. Right. Haze Red Mist says, "Hi lads, Haze Red Mist again. Don't worry, I'm not going to slag off Mario Galaxy this time. You can relax. My question this time is around games that you found difficult or easy, where others have had the opposite experience. I asked this because I've just completed the campaign of Splatoon 2, and I genuinely found it to be one of the hardest games I've played this generation. It had some infuriating difficulty spikes, and the checkpoint coupled with the 3 strikes and you're out system, which sends you back to the start of the level, was frequently maddening to me. I've had a look online, and there is a cross-section of people who had my experience, forum threads with people tearing their hair out over certain levels, but when I posted my thoughts on the Cane and Rinse thread, I was all but ridiculed by one user who described the experience as a walk in the park. So what games have you found really tough, but others have breezed through with no problems, or vice versa? Cheers, Haze Red Mist.
For me, it's anything with doors. Opening doors. It can
a problem.
Can be a problem.
I'm trying to think. Like, I remember, my whole thing with Hyperlight Drifter came out. I found it way too hard. There were definitely, eventually, there was enough of a consensus of people who were in the same boat as me.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that.
Yeah, but certainly initially, everyone else seemed to be really enjoying it, and I was just like, no, this is horribly frustrating. I'm really don't get it. I mean, even within Dark Souls, it's quite a famous thing that everyone has different. There are certain difficulty spikes that people agree upon, the first Capra Demon encounter or whatever. But then there are some people who are just oh no, just did it first time, I guess. I don't.
well, Miles is going to be a Dark Souls boss because is it Caesar's Discharge? Where basically you can stand at the back.
Yeah, so you run up to him and then run all the way back out again, and he just kind of falls over and dies.
Okay, Matt, do Caesar's Discharge. Easiest boss in the game. Don't worry about it. I tried for half an hour. I was like, I'm failing. How am I failing? We don't know. I've never seen this before. People in chat we've never seen anyone not do this first time before. And I had to go back, come back, and then it's it worked on one lucky time. But it's basically a cheese. You hit a bit.
Wasn't it? I think it was when
he grabs the sides and then you hit it and he falls off. But it never worked for me. So everyone's like, don't worry, Matt. Next boss in Bloodborne, easiest boss in the game. It's it will not be easy for me. I can guarantee that.
I think it was when John Denton was streaming Dark Souls, and I remember watching him doing Ceaseless Discharge, and he was having trouble with it, and everyone in the chat was just going you need to just run back to the door and then back, and he was just what are you talking about? How is that helpful?
Yeah,
no one was explaining no, it's a weird sort of trick that no one's really clear if it's supposed to be a bug or not. I don't think. No one was really explaining, oh no, you need to just do this, and he was just what? Why? What? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of others. I'm struggling. You got any, James?
He's right about that, about Splatoon 2 though, because that
it's a fucker.
It is quite annoying actually. Yeah, the checkpoints.
Yeah, the DLC is a fucking nightmare as well.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it just being more Splatoon stuff, cool. Didn't realise it is oh no, if you only buy this if you've very much done everything else and need an extra challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember it was when Mark Brown, aka British Gaming, aka Game Maker's Toolkit on YouTube, he streamed a bit of the Splatoon 2 DLC, and there's this one level where you're pushing this ball around and you have to get it to the end of the level, and there's physics involved, it's got a lot of momentum and stuff. And you just get to this one section where it's it's all diagonal and there's holes everywhere. And I just remember just looking at it, and he just went, bearing in mind, this guy never swears, as far as I'm aware. I mean, this wasn't really swearing, but he just looked at it and just went, are you actually joking my arse? And I don't know, I just properly got me. And I was like, yeah, that bit is just horrible. And that's one of the earlier levels. I gather it gets a lot worse. But then I know people are just oh no, it's cool, it's really good fun. Oh yeah, it's quite tough, but I'm really enjoying it. And I'm nah, I'm not into it. I think that's all I've got. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I struggle on those of games basically, but I basically I rarely ever find games easier than anyone else. Everyone always well, that's the easy bit. I'm games are never really easy. It's always, if I get through something, it's often luck, or I button mashed enough and I did the right thing somehow.
Yeah.
Most games are really tough, but there's Dark Souls bosses where it's don't worry, Matt, this is basically a cheese. You can't fail this. What's that one Dark Souls one? It's that wheel, and you're going up that pit, and it's the wheel that runs around. And it's you can't die to this. It's
the wheel that runs. You mean pinwheel?
Yeah, pinwheel. Yeah, and I didn't die to it.
I mean, yeah, that is a notoriously shit boss. like
I
an
didn't
easy
die
one.
to it, but I was like, you almost died to pinball. I was like, no, I didn't. Oh, I mean, I got hit a couple of times, sure, and I did. He's like the chasing and yeah.
I mean, the main takeaway here is Haze Red Mist mentions this guy on the Kane and Rinse forum, and if you're a listener, I apologise, but like, don't be that guy. Don't like, never ridicule other people for finding a game tough.
Walk in the
like,
park, mate.
Yeah.
Get good.
You got to get good. Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Like especially, I feel like post Dark Souls, like a lot of people are more forgiving about this stuff because everyone realised, do you know what? Everyone gets stuck at different points. It's just one of those things that, like, if someone struggles on a boss that you found easy, don't be like, oh, well, I did it second go, it was absolutely fine. Because guess what? They'll like just waltz through a boss that you really struggled with, and just don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had like sort of people and family members say like, are you like nervous when you like stream games? What if you get stuck? I'm like, no. I've made peace with the fact that I will be stuck and it will be bad. I'm not like I'm not streaming to like show off my gaming prowess. I know I have none of that. So actually, like me getting stuck on a boss is like that's part of the course. It can be annoying, because... sure, but I'm not like especially it's so embarrassing. It's like I'm used to it.
Yeah, and especially if you're streaming a Soulsborne game, there's a level of failure that is certainly expected, and indeed people look forward to it, I think, because it's all about the drama and like overcoming it, and eventually when you beat a boss, everyone cheering along with you and stuff. Like that's all part and parcel of it. Less so like when I was streaming Hypnospace Outlaw, and it was like, because it was essentially a puzzle game, and I just wasn't understanding what I was supposed to be doing. It was just me kind of sitting there going, it
is tougher when you're trying to work out mechanics in front of other people. Yeah. At least like Dark Souls, you can get it, but like working out a puzzle game in front of other people, I'm not sure I could do that.
Right, Gary Stewart says, I mean, he doesn't mention this. I think he's talking about Destiny 2. It says, with the next season introducing a new six-man game
I made up an email, and like the subject was probably Destiny 2, so my apologies. That's me.
With the next season introducing a new six-man game mode, what do you all want it to be? I'd like to see a horde mode stroke tower defense similar to Frontier defense in Titanfall 2. I mean, that's not a bad idea. That would work.
It is a horde type mode in Destiny at all.
Not really, no. In fact, not at all. No.
That would work really well, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah, totally. It's just like defender point, guys coming at you. I mean, I would hope they would do something a bit more interesting with it than that.
Well, yeah, because loads of missions do that anyway, don't they? It happens all the time, like defend this point or whatever.
Yeah, a new six-man game mode. I don't really know what else they could do with it.
They could do the smallest battle royale.
Just a really shit battle royale with 6 people. Wouldn't be quite the same, would it? But like the same size map, but it's only 6 people.
Yeah. So a Destiny battle royale would work, I think.
Oh, totally. But would you be able to use your character, or would you have to use, because you're basically robbing it of the whole like scavenging for equipment and stuff?
Well, I mean, you'll probably use your character in terms of the visuals, but you'd have to.
Like you'll still earn
it's
stuff towards your character.
It's all about scavenging for weapons and armor and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But it'd be pretty cool. If they could do it actually, where everyone goes into like the area where you're all like a level 200 character or something, and then you need to find stuff as you're scavenging to basically get up to 700 light level, and like that's the equivalent of level 3 armor or level 3 like in PUBG, or level 3 helmet and stuff. That could be awesome actually. If you all start.
Or what if as you kill people, that increases your power level as well, similar to like Tetris 99.
Yeah. They should make that. I mean, they've almost certainly got a prototype, haven't they? Like within Bungie.
Yeah,
they've obviously tested it.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right, what else? Gary Stewart. No, that is the one we just read out.
Yeah, we've done that.
Well done, Sean. Kurt Lewin says, congratulations on the successful Patreon. Looking forward to all the extra content. Cheers, Kurt. I recently read an article in which a developer on Mortal Kombat revealed that he ended up suffering from PTSD from the research he had to undertake for the animations and fatalities in the game. They would have to watch hangings, cows being slaughtered, and all other sorts of horrific stuff as research, and that in the end he would stop himself from sleeping due to frequent nightmares and had to go and see a psychiatrist for PTSD. I never knew devs would have to watch such horrible things for their games, but I suppose it is just them trying to make animations and gore as realistic as possible, but I don't necessarily think that's right. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the issue. Is it a step too far, or should this be expected if devs are making a violent game? I mean, I've known this is a thing for a while because I've seen, just not necessarily like documentaries, but videos shot in development offices, and they'll be like, oh yeah, here's like one of the 3D modeling guys, and here's his desk surrounded by pictures of like people who've been shot or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty horrific. Like, I understand that there are certain jobs, like paramedics, for example, like pretty much have to do the same thing. I believe that when you're doing your paramedic training, you just get given like an archive of just like really horrible like pictures of people who've been injured and stuff, because it's like, dude, shit, get used to it. Like, this is your job. You are going to have to actually face situations like this. But if we're doing, like, for the sake of realistic gore in a video game, we're actually making, like, giving people PTSD. That's a lot, isn't it?
It is, but like, if you were like working on a film, like like a Saw, like the Saw movies or some sort of horrific horror film, I think you probably wouldn't. You would think, oh well, I'm just not going to take the opportunity because I don't do well with that. I'm not saying that. Is that different?
I know what you mean. Yeah, like
if you're working for like NetherRealm, you're going to see some whack shit. Whereas if you're working for Clap Hands and you're making Everybody's Golf, it's a very different. Your point. Yeah, but obviously it's not good. And like the stuff they're sort of saying, like obviously it can't be good. It can't be good for you.
I suppose, but, I'm not saying like Mortal Kombat should not have gore in it, because that's a very silly hill to die on. But would I know if it wasn't realistic? Probably not. Like, if they just sort of made up, oh, well, like, it does like the sort of the cross sections and the sort of x-rays and stuff, like, oh, here's someone getting their skull cracked or whatever. I'm pretty sure if they just used their imagination, I would be fairly convinced. Like, I don't need it to be particularly accurate, I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. But like, these guys are animating bones cracking and, even like the basics, it doesn't have to be... It's not biologically realistic. It doesn't have to be, but we have to see how these things animate. I do see what you mean. It's just, I mean, if you're working these sorts of games, it's just have to be horrible. And like, I guess that's an opportunity for you to say, I don't want to work in this game because I don't have to see the sort of shit. I'll deal with it every single day, or you're just numb to it and you're not bothered. But it's not,
it's weird. Like I know what you mean. Like, if someone was like, I work on horror films, and it turns out. It's really messing me up. You'd be a bit like, well, why did you go into working in horror films, you idiot?
Should have worked for Pixar.
Yeah. Whereas, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the argument is that, like, well, if you've trained as a 3D modeler, maybe this was the only work you could get. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how much choice people have in these things to really comment.
No, and if you've worked, if you've done as a studying and you've desperately wanted to get in the games industry, and there's like an opportunity from the people who made Mortal Kombat, I guess you find it hard to say no. Like, the jobs like that aren't exactly all over the place.
I've not read the article, which I probably should have. Apologies, Kurt. I know you did link us to it. Like, is the broader issue that staff are having to confront these things and are not being looked after? Like, were there things? Yeah,
is there not adequate support for these people?
Yeah, like, could things have been done to allow him to do this job without developing PTSD? So yeah, Jesus, what a minefield. I mean, yeah, like, broadly speaking, no, I don't ever want anyone to develop PTSD making computer games, like, in case that needs saying. But yeah, what a mess. Speaking of what a mess, James, are you still there?
Yeah.
Nope. Okay, oh, you are. Okay. I thought maybe this discussion had set you off.
No, yeah, I don't want to think about it. Can we move on?
Okay, fine. We can move on if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, cool. Rafi says, hey guys, how do you find the time to do all the things you do? What sort of schedule do you work to in order to keep making content and being dads? I became a dad over 8 months ago, and it's great, but I can't even begin to fathom a reality where I could do even a quarter of the stuff you do. Please share with me your daily schedule so that I can learn what you guys do and how I can try to work that in once my son is a little older.
I will say Rafi wrote like a really detailed schedule his entire day. I do appreciate it, Rafi, but we're not going to read it on the pod, but we do appreciate it. You basically have to lose sleep. That's it, really.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? You just sacrifice sleep and... I mean, I don't know if you guys have been the same. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this to you guys. Like, it must have been about a year in. Like, I was getting like really bad like anxiety and paranoia, And
yeah, you mentioned that,
yeah, like, and realised it was just because I wasn't getting enough fucking sleep. Like, I thought I'd like found the level with it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of feel tired all the time, but I'm used to it. I'm dealing with it. But yeah, that lack of sleep like manifests in
how much sleep were you getting at that point, do you think?
I mean, it must have been like about 5 hours a night, which it turns out consistently is not enough. And that was obviously like that was like night. Yeah, and obviously that was like interrupted by night feeds and stuff. Like, I mean, it helps a lot that Isaac's like usually just has one night feed now, and it's pretty much like you give him the bottle, and even if he doesn't fall asleep straight away, you can pretty much just put him back in his bed, and he kind of sorts himself out. So that makes a huge difference. It used to be like you'd be up like 3 or 4 times a night, and like during the evening, so you didn't even get your evening to yourself. So yeah, it's fucking hard. But yeah, you just give up sleep basically.
Yeah, give up sleep, or just give up evenings. I mean, I know, but my wife Jill, she sort of just understands that this is just a thing I like to do. Like we record a pod on Mondays. I can get the edit done pretty quick afterwards. So Tuesday isn't always like filled up with like pod stuff, but I do have to like write the description, social posts and stuff, and then
yeah, sure,
I have like a couple of evenings off, and then but I'm always thinking of doing something. If I'm not actively having to like record a pod or edit or do a stream, I'm still working on other things in the background. But yeah, but then you've also got to find time to actually play the games as well, which I actually find I have more trouble trying to do that, because obviously you have like a full day at work, and maybe you do pod stuff, whether it's recording or editing or whatever it is you're doing, and then you're like, it's 10 o'clock and I probably could do with a sleep, but no, I need to play a game. It's like I generally get like stressed when it comes to like the weekend. I'm like, fucking okay, it's almost Monday. Sunday night is done because that's Bloodborne. Yeah. So I've got to like squeeze a game in here because otherwise I have nothing to talk about on Monday.
I mean, what the fuck did we do?
Oh my god, I'll play the game. It's like maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll play the game. This is amazing. And like I don't have to stress come the weekend.
Like what on earth did we do before like indie? I mean, obviously we weren't podcasting in the same way back then, but like before indie games were a common thing. Like, how the fuck did we play enough stuff to talk about every episode?
I mean,
like the early days of Joypod, or yeah. I don't know how we managed, but
I mean,
we didn't have children then, did we?
Around then, but
so it was easier then. There was no children and stuff. I mean,
that's true. We had free time, so and disposable income. Remember that?
I mean, it gets easier.
There's the money.
I think once the children get older, it gets much easier. I mean, mine are like 9 and 6 now, and like I mean, they're usually both asleep by about my son goes to bed earlier, but my daughter's at least asleep by about sort of 8:30, 9, and then from that on, you're just thinking, okay, I can do what I want to do now. For things. So you got like the show, like on the Monday.
That's the same with me.
Yeah, and then you got
and like Rafi's saying 8 months. I mean, like it's tough basically until about like the 2-year mark, really.
Yeah, and then it does get easier after that. I mean, in terms of like planning for this, it's like, I mean, the main thing I do is like the news stuff, and I just do that I do that in my lunch break, like on a Monday.
Yeah,
it's when I do it, and it's like put that together, and then as you can tell, it's very well researched, and and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it goes without saying that like none of us would be doing all this if we didn't want to. I don't think we don't like exactly force ourselves, but it's something you've got to be mindful of. But I mean, how long did I wait? Was it a full year before I came back?
You actually came back before. Like, you anticipated, because actually you came back, I think, a week before Game of the Year. Does that sound right?
Oh God, maybe
you came back basically before we anticipated. Like I think you might say it's going to be a year off, and actually you came. Actually no.
It must have been well before that, because
I think it's actually like. Was it not like EGX time?
It was, because I didn't miss an E3, did I?
Yeah. Well, when was Isaac born?
He was born in October.
Yeah, I think you came back. Yeah, like I know
it must have only been about 6 months.
A year. Did you not?
I definitely didn't miss an E3.
But
so I must have been back by June.
Fuck, did you? Wow, you were okay. Even sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe you come back a week before E3. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Possibly, yeah.
Wow, bonkers.
But no, I mean, that was maybe not the right move for me personally. Perhaps that was a bit soon. But yeah, it's like, I mean, Isaac's 18 months now, and it, like I say, it's already leveled out quite a lot. Like I was talking to a friend about the this new Monster Hunter World stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, like Isaac's fine in the evening. I can just play that and not, because, because that came out, and Isaac was still a couple of months old, and I just couldn't play it properly because I couldn't pause it. And it was just every evening there was just the likelihood of him just kicking off every like half an hour or whatever. Like that was pretty much a constant thing. Yeah. Whereas now I'm like, oh fuck, I can actually play that properly. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, in the first year of Elodie being born, I was playing Destiny a lot. So like the amount of times, like with me, Dave, and yourself, and others were like doing a strike. Like, I've got to go. Baby's crying, and then like the rest of you on the party would just like wait around a bit. I'm like, so I'm back, but I've got to go. It's kicking off, and the amount of times I have to stop games for that. Yeah. But yeah, this stuff right now is fine, but yeah, like the first year and a half is tough.
Yeah, gets easier, Rafi. Promise.
Yeah, you'll get through it, Rafi. And then if you want to create stuff, you'll have to lose sleep. That's just how it has to work.
It gets easier and it gets more fun. Is the thing that's really worth pointing out. Like, it doesn't just get like less hassle. It's like you will enjoy spending time with your kids so much more as time goes on.
The first 2 years is basically a war. But after that, it's every day is amazing, and every parent says it. But the first 2 years are shit. No, and no parent says that. They were like, "Oh, it's amazing," and like, no, it isn't. It is horrific. It's really not. But no one admits that. Everyone's like, "Oh, it must like." We'll quickly go on to tweets in a minute. But you know when you go into work, when you got like a newborn baby or like first few months, like, oh, it must be just amazing. You must love it. And like, yes, I love the child, but oh my god. No, it's not fun. And like everyone's like, oh, how was your weekend? It's like, it was shit. But you can't really say that because they're like, oh, you got a child. You must be really happy. It's like, no, it's horrendous. But you get through it. And even through all that, it is the best thing ever.
I remember like when I first came back to work and someone said like, oh, did you get that thing where it's like, you know, the most love you've ever felt for anything ever? And I said like, no, like I do really love him and I'm properly like attached to him and everything. It's like the same sort of love I have for like my wife. It's not like new levels of love, but I don't care about anything else, including work. Like everything else just fell away. But you
it really does change everything.
It's fine. Yeah. Right. Tweets.
And speaking of that, let's go on to tweets. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Athene Allen, listening back to last year's E3 prediction show, Dave says Anthem is going to be brilliant. Literally no doubt about it. What's the most foolish thing you've ever looked? What's the most foolish you've ever looked in hindsight?
I mean, I know I've definitely said stupid things that turned out to be wrong on podcasts. Just cause, surely, like anyone who records himself for 2 to 3 hours a week, they're gonna.
You're bound to say some weird stuff.
But that's why I don't go back and listen to old episodes. So
that's also why I just don't listen back in general, because I know that almost every episode I've said something which has made myself look foolish. So, yep.
There was one. So this was in the Midnight Resistance days. There was like an early episode we were talking about like either freelance journalists or like hobbyist like games writers or whatever who are a bit embarrassing about like demanding like review code or like tweeting when their promo code shows up for something and they're like, but I can't talk about it. And how annoying that is. And we took this incredibly pious stance on review code, and we were like, do you know what? If someone offered me some, I don't even think I would accept it. And why would we? Why would we ever do that? Review code's really useful, and thank you to everyone who sends us stuff. It's really appreciated.
We do definitely use that, and it's brilliant for the show. Yeah.
Even like while we were still on Midnight Resistance, we got a few bits here and there, mostly like. Not in any sort of official capacity, but like PR people we knew who just liked the show and stuff. And we were like, brilliant, thank you. Like, despite having taken this stance previously, we just forgot we ever even said that.
I mean,
that's pretty embarrassing.
You also, Sean, foolishly said, well, I'm not going to eat at the GMAs because, fuck that, fuck eating at the awards. That's just going to, I'm not going to sell out.
Because when I was there, I was like, actually, do you know what? I don't even know who's paid for this sausage, so I'm going to eat it.
Actually, there's a lovely sausage roll. There's a lovely spread, so I'm going to eat everything I can. There wasn't food last year, was there?
Was there not?
There was food. No, there was. There was
bad
pizza.
Oh, yes, there was. Yeah, I refused to eat because I didn't want to get it because I didn't want to get it in my teeth.
When you say bad pizza, is this, the thing in Night in the Woods about how, like,
go on.
Any pizza that's like anywhere from 3 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. Like, it's not actually any lower than 7 out of 10. But then once it goes below 3 out of 10, it then actually goes below 3 out of 10. Like, quite bad pizza is still okay pizza.
Yeah, it's still pizza at the end of the day.
Yeah. It was still okay pizza, we can say in that case. Yeah, it was fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big pesto fan, but I refused to eat it because I had a pesto in it. I was like, am I going to eat a slice of pizza and have to go to the bathroom to make sure I've got no pesto in my teeth? No, I'll just not eat any food and I'll get way too drunk because I haven't eaten. Let's do that instead, shall we?
I've genuinely, I mean, this is very much off topic. I've genuinely started considering just carrying a toothpick with me, like in my wallet or something, just in general. Because there are so many days out I've had ruined where I'm just like, there's definitely something in my teeth.
Well, I don't know what to do about it. There'll be a bathroom where you are, surely.
But but if it's like between my teeth, I can't. Yeah. I need tools.
You can ask your wife for that.
I don't think she carries toothpicks.
No. I mean, say, is there anything in my teeth? And she'll say yes, and then you'll do the thing, and then she'll say, and you say, is it gone now? And she's like, yeah, it's gone.
But still, that's the point. Is I still need I can't usually when stuff gets stuck in my teeth, I can't just get it out with my fingers or my tongue. I need. Like an actual toothpick or
right, yeah. So it's not actually the locating; it's actually removing it.
Yeah, it's the removal process that I'm having trouble with.
It's tough, isn't it? Yeah, you should do that.
It's tough getting old, mate.
And then when you're not using the toothpick to remove food out your teeth, just have it around in your mouth like you're some cool dude from Greece.
Chew it. Yeah.
You should definitely do that. That could be your new look. The GMAs when they come, actually, they've been delayed now till October. That should be, I think, leather jacket, wash jeans, and a toothpick. Please do that if we get nominated, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. Luke Summerhays, friend of Bears. I reckon I'm going to go offline for E3 and catch up with the show. Have you decided a date for Sean leaving the internet yet?
We haven't actually. So when does E3 start?
Quite unlike me, I haven't actually written down any of the conferences yet in my calendar. Normally, I've got them whole. I think they're starting the weekend of the 9th.
Because
so the actual show starts Tuesday the 11th. So yeah, there'll be that preceding weekend is going to be a no-go.
Yeah, so really, it's going to be Friday the 7th or should Saturday the 8th. I mean,
come on, it's not going to matter, is it, this year?
James, can you stop downplaying the best week in gaming of the year? It's like saying Christmas is going to be shit. What's the point? Stop doing that. It's the best week of the year. So
if we say I mean, obviously we'll be flexible. Like if there's leaks like that, week commencing the 3rd, then as soon as if you guys see something before I do, then you're just gonna have to tell me, and I'll just get off.
Yeah. Basically, the first leak shuts the door, or opens the door,
totally.
However you want to say.
But otherwise, I think if we just say Friday evening on the 7th.
Yeah, Friday the 7th.
I feel like I should do a stream like you did, Matt, but I don't know how I would top yours.
Just do it anyway. I mean, no, there's other technical problems in mine. Just do it anyway. I'm really embarrassed about mine. Just wear a suit, do all the delete every app like I did on mine.
Yeah. Did it? I'm trying to remember. Did you delete WhatsApp
Microsoft
or did you
just
have their
biggest show ever? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, James. What did you say? Sorry.
I was going to say I think Microsoft might have their biggest show ever. Because they say that every year. It's
can we not slag off E3? Yeah, I deleted WhatsApp. Yeah, I deleted everything.
Okay, cool.
Everything.
How did you? Did you have because my family and stuff contact me on WhatsApp. Was that not a?
No, the rest of my family are just they just use phones, and I don't really talk so much anyway. And then everyone else, so she was like, "I love your little break." So yeah, no WhatsApp. I deleted everything. WhatsApp, Facebook. I had iMessage, of course, but who uses that anymore?
Well, I've got Android messages, so I'm.
You got Allo or whatever they're using these days.
No, they've binned Allo.
Oh, but Allo's dead, is it?
There's about 15,
then they're binning Hangouts and they're replacing it with a new message app that nothing supports. Go on, sorry.
Brilliant. Love that. Yeah, so if anyone listening, you're also leaving the internet for E3, it's Friday the 7th of June. That's what's happening. Fuck, I cannot wait.
And then, so it says ends on Friday the 14th of June, but are we just waiting till all the conferences are done and then I can catch up, or? Yeah,
so the last conference is on Tuesday the 11th, and then we'll, at least I believe so, I need to check, but I think that's the case. And then, we'll put out a later pod that week. I think previously we've recorded. I mean, obviously in the last couple of years, both James and I have actually been away or couldn't record until the weekend. But if you're around, we'll record the night after the last conference, and then we'll put out a pod that week.
Are you looking forward to the PC gaming show, guys?
Not going to be watching that.
Actually,
I'm good because I'm going to want to report.
James,
on it.
we are doing that. Why would we watch it? I'll watch, of course. But why would you not do that? Given we're already down Sony,
Okay, so I'm looking at the schedule. So it looks like Nintendo are last on the morning of Tuesday. So we could actually just do that Tuesday evening.
Yeah, and it could be out on Wednesday as a regular pod.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because obviously normally, so normally on Tuesday that's like 5 p.m. and that's Nintendo. That's the same thing, isn't it? Is that what you're saying?
I think yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. 5 p.m. BST. Yeah. So that's
cool.
it.
Yeah, so we could do straight after that.
Cool.
Oh, E3, the best week of the year.
I hope it's one of those. It'll be another one of those where it's just a really shit year and everyone's like, oh, but Nintendo are last. They're going to save it. They're going to swoop in at the last minute and they're going to be really good. And they never are.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Nintendo, but that always
but at least we know there's not going to be half an hour on Smash Brothers.
That's true. Well, I don't know. I'm sure they'll find a way. Maybe it'll be Animal Crossing
pack.
instead.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Curtis at Luke Cage H4H. What will be your next stream game, Dr. Farley? Please consider Until Dawn. Also, seriously, for real, when are you going to give Zero Escape a go? What's next, James? Didn't you say Alien Isolation?
I thought about it, yeah, because, I mean, I'm hopefully going to finish Deadly Premonition one day. And
you're going to finish it this Friday.
Hopefully. I don't know.
You're on the last boss, aren't you?
I'm on what I assume is the last boss. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I got so fed up with that stream. It really made me so angry. Like last week, I didn't give in because I'm not going to give in to this game, even though it's annoying me. But I don't know what's coming next. I mean, Alien Isolation is a possibility because it's something I actually do want to play.
I was going to say, please do play something you actually want to play this time.
Yeah, I love to see that because it's a scary game I'm not playing, and I like to see you deal with it. And
see, I'm thinking I might try that and just see how it goes. You know, just see. Yeah. Maybe not commit to finishing it, but just thinking, okay, I'll see how the stream goes because I've never streamed a game like that before. There's also Until Dawn is also a possibility.
That'd be a good one.
Zero Escape.
Until Dawn being like this sort of teen horror choose your own. Yeah. I started playing that actually. I think Dave lent me the disc.
I gather it's one of those that's a lot better when you realise you don't really have to care about what happens to the characters. You're more like the director of a shitty horror movie.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Zero Escape, I will at some point. I mean, I just wish it was out on the Switch or something because then it's more likely I'd play it. It's just, I don't enjoy playing not text adventures, but like graphic adventure stuff on TV very much. I like playing it in bed or whatever, and that's the problem with this. But yeah, mate, I will play it at some point.
Cool. Insert coins on Twitter. Detective Pikachu was getting high marks, and the Phoenix Wright movie before it was very good. Sorry, there's a Phoenix Wright movie.
There was, but it wasn't very good. Sorry.
Was it like a DVD release or what?
It was released in Japan. It was. I don't know if it was. I don't know if there was. There must have been like a subtitled version was released that I saw, and it wasn't great. It was all right, but it wasn't very good.
That sounds like it could be quite good. Anyway, seemingly the only way to make a good video game movie is to make it about detectives. What video game series would you adapt into a detective movie? Before we get into this, have you two seen Detective Pikachu yet?
I've seen it. No, I've seen it.
What was it like, James? I really want to see it.
It was good. I saw it with the family, and they all very much enjoyed it, and I thought it was fine.
Probably the right way to see it, to be honest. Yeah.
I think Eddie and I are going to go see it on like the May spring bank holiday in like the end of May because she actually wants to see it. I think because she saw me playing enough Pokemon Go and in the Pokemon game, and I showed her a trailer and she was like Pika Pika. So she hasn't really sort of no real concept of the game itself other than seeing me play it a little bit. So but she wants to see the film. So cool. I'm excited to see it. I mean I probably it looked great from the trailers, but I probably wouldn't go if it wasn't for Elodie. So
yeah, I mean and it was they enjoyed it. The children enjoyed it. But yeah, I thought it was fine.
Cool.
To answer the question, movie video game. Yeah.
Halo ODST.
Oh my god! I was gonna go for Halo.
That's a very good idea. Yeah.
Master Chief would. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to
the whole
that.
Sherlock Holmes outfit as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Master Chief Collection to come into PC because I'm going to play the fuck out of ODST and Reach again because they're good games.
Reach was amazing. ODST is the only one I haven't finished because my save file corrupted. And I was like, I'm not going back to that. I mean,
it's not the best. It does have legitimate problems. Actually, just another shout out for Mark Brown. He did a really good video about it a couple of weeks ago. Just about how it is really interesting but not perfect, but it's cool that they took such a risk with it. So So yeah,
that's the only Halo game I haven't actually finished.
It's great.
So it's
really
sort of it's definitely on my plate. But Reach, I love Reach.
Yeah, Reach is awesome. But yeah, ODST, you could totally make that a detective game.
Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah, that's a great answer. Okay, Chris. Well, a quick one. Chris Cleveland, James, mainly to James. Will you recommend Animal Crossing Happy Home Design to kill time until Switch Animal Crossing? Will disappointment be equal or greater than Pocket Camp?
I think it would be less than Pocket Camp, but it isn't great. I mean, my daughter loves it. Like, she spent a lot of time playing it, but I found it to be... I mean, it takes parts of Pocket Camp. I mean, Pocket Camp feels like it stole a lot of stuff from Happy Home Designer, because it is just the sort of, you know, arranging things in houses and stuff. It's not great. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it that much. It's I'd say, I mean, maybe less than Pocket Camp, but still not great.
Okay, we're going to do 4 quickies and we're going to go. Kurt Lewin, Sony have said that PS5 will support PSVR, but do you think they'll release PSVR 2? And how long to the PS5 lifespan will it be before it arrives? Yes, they're obviously going to release PSVR 2 this thing is sold like hotcakes. How long? I don't think it'll be instant. I think it'll be like 6 months plus, because they can't expect people to buy PS5 and then also buy like a £400 PSVR.
That is a lot of money, yeah.
That'd be mental, but...
I reckon they'll probably leave it like a full year or something.
I'm excited because obviously PSVR is all built on like old like iToy and like Move technology. The next one, obviously, they'll have to like bring it much more up to date with all the stuff that modern VR headsets do with like tracking and stuff. So it'll be a very different beast, but if they keep on with the software, they'll crush it. Richard Sawyer... I'm a recent convert to having no hair after finally embracing the fact that I'm going bald.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my beard game is strong. Can Matt take me through his head and beard regime so I look as lustrous as he does? Now, we have covered this on multiple times on the pod, so I'll be super quick. Shave my head every Sunday night. In the beard oil every morning after like a shower or whatever. And then beard balm if you want to make it styled. And carry a little beard comb with you. That's it. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I mean, because I sort of, not like fully, but like mostly shaved my head a few weeks ago and was like, shit, this actually looks okay. And yeah, it did not occur to me that you do have to keep that up pretty much every week, don't you? Like,
yeah, you do. And what you'll do, Sean, is you'll find yourself you will gradually just get shorter and shorter. I shaved my head like many years ago, and I was like, okay, this is fine, like grade 2 or 3 or whatever. And I was like, maybe a little bit short. And then eventually I'm just like, fuck it. I don't pick it, but I basically shave it like the lowest like grade on my razor. But I have, totally. I mean, we definitely got time to get into this now, but I've been looking into getting looking into wigs.
Okay.
I made a mistake of following this account called Phil Does Hair on Instagram. Everyone look at Phil, PHIL Does Hair on Insta. Just search that account on Instagram. This guy basically does an incredible, like, non-surgical hair replacement is what it's called. These wigs are realistic. You can shower in them, swim in them, go in the rain. You like get them cut to get them styled. They look unbelievable. Okay. I would love to get it done, but I'm worried about lack of respect from everyone. But people,
how much do they cost?
Respectful. Well, so this is the Field has like a US one. There are UK equivalents, and basically you pay like $2,000 for the first thing, and then you pay $1,000. I think every maybe like 6 months to replace it, and every 4 weeks you yourself have to like re-glue it on, but that doesn't cost anything. Okay. Just look at Phil Does Hair on Instagram, Sean. You'll be blown away. I watched and I was like, fucking hell, I can have hair for the first time in my life.
You see, because what I find, I don't know if you had the same thing, Matt. So someone told the Facebook advertising engine that I'm going bald. And so now like all my Instagram adverts are for like baldness treatments. But they're all like preventative. They're not, none of it actually reverses baldness. Or it's like, it might do, but really it's like, it's supposed to be like, I think I am going bald. I will start using it now, and it will stop me going more bald.
Yeah,
I see. I mean, it's too late. It's too late for me.
Do, is there? You're screwed as soon as it starts happening. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think in the US, like I see on here loads of adverts. I think it's for Hims. I think it's like a sponsor.
Yeah, they mention that on Laser Time a lot.
And they're like, you can get like gummies to chew, like because once you start losing hair, it's tough. But if you do this now, and I was like, well, I'm fucked. It's way too late for me.
Yes, too late.
Oh, but yeah,
just do the thing of being like, actually, it means I've got more testosterone. Actually, so it's
I'm such
really
a
manly.
Bloke. Yeah. My hair's fucking falling out, isn't it? But I've never had good hair, even when I had hair when I was younger. But oh, these weeks, man. And actually, like, we're talking about our workloads, and then someone's like, oh, did you see the Carl Pilkington the thing on Moaning of Life where he gets a wig? And that looks amazing, and he's really, really happy. And he's like, and honestly, you can see it in his face, he's like, his eyes are bigger, and he's like, I look amazing and feel amazing. And he rings Suzanne, his wife, and she's like, it looks shit. And he takes it off and he's all depressed again. But yeah, I would love to get one, but I was like, will everyone at work lose respect for me? And I said, look, all what has to happen is everyone I know has to die, and then once they're gone, it's just new people. Like, hey, this guy's got hair.
If you just took like a month off work, I mean, your wife would know, obviously, but
and I'd probably tell. I mean, like, I'll say, like, look, guys, this is what happens if I don't shave my head. So I'll just go a full head of really incredible thick hair. But then we're looking at famous hair transplants and like, what's the ex-Chelsea manager, James? Is it like Conte?
Yeah, Conte had
he in the 80s he was like bald, but proper balding, and then like now he's got an incredible set of hair or head of hair. Anyway, this is maybe a quickie. Scotoma at Scotoma Games. Did any of you play Return to Obra Dinn? I have it sitting on my hard drive, and I'm wondering whether it's worth my time. I played about 3 or 4 hours, and I absolutely loved it. It got a bit difficult, and I stopped playing it. But Return to Obra Dinn is fantastic. You both, Sean and James, you both love that.
Yeah, I got it in a Steam sale. It was down to like a tenner or something, and I just haven't got around to it.
It's so atmospheric, like the music and like the graphical style. Like I know you'd. I mean, I know you both love it. You should give it a go. Last quick one. TomTom at Rikaku Police. Dr. Farley, do you think? Huawei.
That's fine. Huawei.
Yeah, good enough. Do you think they should have involvement in the UK's 5G infrastructure?
No.
Quick one.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
Good. That's it for tweets. And that's it for the show, really.
Yeah. I'll do, won't it?
Mm-hmm. Let's do the streamer stuff quickly. Yes. It is Wednesday today. Sean couldn't stream. Well, actually, technically, it's a Tuesday as we recorded. Sean couldn't stream tonight because we're recording. As you listen to this, it's Wednesday, hopefully. And Sean is streamed tonight at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/Computer Game Show. Go over there, see what indie game Sean is streaming. On this Friday night, James is going to finish Deadly Premonition. It's happening. He's on the last boss.
No pressure.
The last 2 streams, you said he's going to finish it, but he will definitely finish it this time. Because even last week, James, you had a system and you were getting there, but it was getting late, so you stopped. This Friday night, Deadly Premonition, this ends now. It's happening. So Friday night from 9 o'clock and Sunday night from 8:30, I'm back for more Bloodborne Sundays. And if you've got Twitch Prime, give us a free sub. We'll really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, check out patreon.com/TCGS. Your support means the world to us. And there's some extras if you're back at various tiers. If you want to support the show, you love what we're doing, patreon.com/TCGS.
Too right. Thanks very much for listening. James, thank you for sticking this out. I realise it has probably not been pleasant.
Okay.
It's much appreciated. Other than that, see you either on the streams or next week or whatever. And thank you for letting us be natural. Good night.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
How many times did you have to leave then? Just once?
About twice.